I mean, it's not like I have an entire day to plan for this, you know? Hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you, Solstice. I haven't seen you in here for a minute. Hey, Mitchell. How's it going? Show some of the chats. Hey, guys. Guess I should introduce myself, huh? If you are new here, hello, welcome. My name is Lacey Jane, and this is Criminally Confident. Not because I am a criminal, it is because I am too confident for my own daggone good. All right, all right. Now that we have that established, if you could just be a cool person and please hit the like button, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, it would do me a whole lot of good and help the algorithm. You might notice things are a little bit different in terms of the setup today. I am on the road again uh, for a while with my mom. My husband was able to use this month to work from home so that we could get some stuff done there. And the puppadories and the kitten. Oh my God, I'm going to have a kitten free show. I wonder how she feels about that. Wow. I love to see you guys here. Hello, maybe. Let's make sure to say thank you and hello to one of the best moderators on YouTube. Gotta love Miss Maybe Not. And things have been plumb wild today. Like, let's talk about it. How about this Nancy Guthrie tape? Did you guys watch it yet? You are so lucky. So his job won't allow for that to happen normally, but he explained that I was doing this and he was allowed to do that. So thankfully, I honestly didn't think it would work. I did not expect that to happen that way. So I love that for you. Um, I have not seen the video with Nancy yet, but I will tell you something that's going on near me. I've been tweeting about it. There was a mass incident. You guys know what I'm trying to say, but I don't want to get in trouble with the YouTube peoples for saying words and real events. They found a bunch of people unalived in a house near here. It's really crazy. It was, I was listening to the scanner and they didn't say the ages or the situation or anything like that, but they like blocked off the road. And I believe there was 5 people that were found. So I will watch the news here tonight and maybe we can talk about that tomorrow. Sound good? Sounds good to me. And I'm the boss. Starting off good. All right. Let's see this Nancy Guthrie. Guthrie video. Because I, honest to God, I was listening to the scanner, couldn't do 2 things at once. So let me put that up here on screen really quick, just because I want to see it. Does it have volume? Oh, you guys can't see it. We were doing so well. We were doing so well. Hold on.
All right, guys. So these new photos of this is Aaron.
I want to see the
All right.
video. And I can't get it larger. Hi, Kevin Jordan. How are you? Hey, Nicole. Okay. Well, so basically it was just like the photos. Do you guys, so like the very first thing I showed it to my mom, and my mom was like, well, it's obviously a dude because of the facial hair. And when I went into the comment section, all I saw were people saying that it had to be a female because of the eyes and the eyebrows. So, do you guys, what are your thoughts? I gotta show my girl Nicole. She's always in here. Excuse me. Oh no, I'm sorry you're under the weather. So, like, do we also, was it confirmed that it was just one person or was it more than one person? I have questions. And all right, that's so creepy. Do you think she saw this happening from her bed? Like, do you think that she was getting notifications and she just like got woken up from the notifications? Do you think that she slept through it? I'm waiting in the chat. Let me know, chat. What do you guys think? I don't know. That's some creepy stuff. That is some creepy stuff right there. Okay. This is what I love what maybe does. So yes, please. If you could please make sure to like, hit the thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed, and just like type an emoji in the chat. That helps so much. Like, so much. It would mean the world to me. So please do that. Thanks. Okay. Open to hearing your thoughts. And I already have the video queued up from where we left off, which is with Miss Wendy. Now, real talk, I think that the prosecution made a horrible mistake by pretty much telling Wendy that she would not be charged. I know that there are a whole bunch of like minuscule lawness things in there that, of course, like if she killed him, if she was in on it, well, I mean, I think she was. But I think that probably could have been handled better. I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think. Oh, and I didn't address this. No, I am in Florida, hence the different, I'm not in Ohio. There was a question earlier. And look at this setup. Like, I'll be using that tomorrow. And then, oh, there's the pool with the cover. Isn't that so great? So great. That's where I was at earlier. Obviously, why I was too busy to, do the headphones and stuff. But we can get started on this, and let's talk about it, because the fact that Charlie just had his lawyers argue that he needs a new trial is flabbergasting. Like, it's mind-blowing.
All right, are those emails between you and your mother?
I don't think I responded. I think they're just emails from my mom to me. No?
Okay, mostly all from your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, and the email address says, I think it's something like Wendy Harvey. Can you tell from the content that it's your mom typing rather than your dad?
Yeah, the email's Donna Harvey, my two parents' names. So they've been married over 50 years, so they have a joint email address. So it's from both of them.
Okay, so what I want to draw your attention to is page 2 of that exhibit, that first paragraph there above the word response. Did you have an opportunity to read that?
I read it real fast, but
scanned.
I can read
And
it.
what I want to draw your attention to is specifically the part that reads, your father has made numerous trips by plane for weekends and changing the patient schedules around so he can continue to spend significant time with the children. Did you?
Are you objecting to Josh?
I just didn't hear it get a minute.
Okay, well, that's
Judge,
his
at this point, I have
choice.
to move this exhibit into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It's 57. Thank you. So that paragraph, isn't that paragraph going into detail about how the issues surrounding your divorce and litigation is financially impacting in a negative way your parents' business?
That's what my mom says here. Yes.
Okay. And it also says, additionally, this loss of income affects my family because my older brother, also a dentist, purchased the practice from my father in mid-July 2012. He has a monthly payment to make to my father based on the sale of the practice. It isn't fair to him to have decreasing monthly income statements from the practice due to my parents spending so much time here in Tallahassee. So this is an argument that your mom is proposing, right, to help you, give you an idea of what might persuade the courts to allow the relocation. You agree with that?
Yes, that's what she was doing. Yes.
Okay. And she's indicating that
Wow.
both your parents as well as your brother have suffered financially as a result of you not being able to relocate.
Yes.
Okay. And on page, do you have page numbers in the bottom right corner of your exhibit?
I have them in the top so I can see.
Okay. So 5 of, well, let me look. Give me a moment. So it'll be the second email in your packet, page 1 of 3.
Okay.
Do you see that?
I see that page.
Okay. And there's a rest of your life highlighted or underlined in the center and in bold. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Right before that, it reads, however, the rest of your life and consequently Dad's, mine, and yes, even Charlie's will be affected by how well you can perform/act before July 31st. You need to be a good actress or you can be a good actress when you want to. I've seen you in action. You need to put on the performance of your life. Jibbers hasn't beaten the Adelson family yet.
Jibbers.
Who's Jibbers?
Jibbers, she's referring to Danny.
And was Jibbers a name he went by or just something you called him behind his back?
Jibbers was a silly nickname that I gave him during the divorce proceedings when he was being pretty scary and threatening, and it kind of made me feel less scared of him.
Okay. So not something you called him to his face.
No.
But that was a word that was only used to describe him.
Yes, it was a nickname.
Okay. So in this, again, your mom is referencing how everyone's life is being affected by this relocation, including your brother, Charlie. Do you agree with that?
That is what she said. Yes.
All right. Is your mom overprotective of you?
Yes.
All right. And is it fair to say she's, a little on the controlling side?
I don't think she's controlling, but she's definitely overprotective.
Did she ever try to micromanage your life?
Really? You have
Maybe,
to
yeah.
think about that?
Did she have an interest in who you were dating and who you weren't dating and who you should be dating when you were
I
single?
think she was usually disappointed that I wasn't dating more.
For example, isn't it true that she would not let you drive to and from Tallahassee to South Florida?
Well, I used to drive before I had the boys, but they were young and she preferred to come with me and give me some extra support.
So what would that look like if you were going to take a trip to South Florida? Would they come up here and get you or?
No, sometimes I would go myself with the kids, but I was breastfeeding both of them. So it usually looked like me breastfeeding a child while I entertained the other in the Okahumpka rest stop. So
Okay.
it was a lot. It was helpful to have some backup.
All right. And so that time frame you'd be referencing is like the 2013 time frame? Because not around the time of Danny's death, you wouldn't have still been breastfeeding, would you?
If Lincoln was 3, no, I would have stopped maybe the year
Ooh.
before.
Okay.
So
And
maybe
was
At a
2012, 2013.
Okay. And wasn't it true that around the time of the death, they were still doing this practice where they would prefer to drive you to and from South Florida?
I mean, not every time, but sometimes.
Okay. And would your mom sometimes enlist your brother Charlie to convince you to do certain things in your personal life?
Can't really think of an example of that.
Well, dating Dave was a big one on some of the materials I had.
Yeah, people like Dave.
All right. And your mom really liked Dave.
Yeah, everyone liked Dave, but we were just friends.
Everybody
Okay.
like Dave.
Did she try? So she would try to get Charlie to convince you to date a certain person.
I don't think she was getting Charlie to convince me to date Dave. I think everyone liked Dave.
All right. And would she try to get Charlie to
Did
convince
you
you
like
to
Dave?
do certain things as far as your professional life? What jobs to take?
No, I
She
don't think
didn't do
so.
that. Would she try to get Charlie to do certain things like advise you on investment decisions, whether or not you were going to buy a house, for example?
I don't think so. I don't remember that. Danny and I made that decision together.
Once you had left Dan and you were living separately, did you look into purchasing a home here in Tallahassee?
I did, yeah.
And did your brother Charlie convince you not to do that?
I don't remember him convincing me not to. The only reason why I didn't was because I was waiting on the money from Danny from the settlement and he didn't pay it, so I couldn't afford the house.
Your mom didn't want you to buy the house, did she?
That's not true. My parents were looking to buy a house in Tallahassee as well.
Okay. Did you have strike?
Is that true?
Generally speaking, does your mom manipulate the personal lives of her children?
No.
Is your mom, like, if she's really upset about something or worked up about something, is that something that your brother Charlie is going to hear a lot about? Who's going to hear more of it, you or Charlie?
Well, if my mom's upset with me, probably Charlie. And if she's upset with Charlie, probably me.
Okay, so do you get a lot of that? Do you hear a lot about, let's go back, let's go to before the murder. Did you get a lot of Donna just giving you an earful about what Charlie needs to be doing?
Probably at some point.
What was Charlie doing with his personal life? What did his personal life look like
Everyone and
Before the
before the
everything.
murder?
I mean, at what period of time before?
All of them. Wasn't it just a revolving door of girlfriends?
Right, but my mom didn't complain to me about that.
She didn't mind that with him.
I don't understand the
She
question.
didn't mind if he went from girl to girl to girl. That was acceptable.
She didn't really weigh in on it, no.
Who talked to her more, you or Charlie?
Charlie.
A lot more, right?
Yeah.
At the time of Dan Markel's murder, were your
Maybe.
parents
Can
extremely
you hear me?
angry with Dan?
At that point, no. They were in a much better place.
I want to direct your attention to an interview that was conducted on, I think this was your law enforcement interview. So July 18th, 2014. And I'm specifically for court and counsel looking at page 27, lines 11 and 12. Open to the page, but you can flip around if you need to familiarize yourself.
Sure.
I'll take that exhibit if you want.
Do you want me to flip through or just look at this one page?
If you'll just look at that one page for me. Not that.
While I was getting ready for the show, I asked my mom how I looked, and she's like, "What?" And she
Let me get to where you
"Your hair
are.
done, your makeup done." And I was like,
So page 27 there, lines 11 and 12, and I've got it highlighted for you. It
Yes, ma'am.
says, Ms. Adelson, my parents are, very angry toward him. Is that true?
Was
Isn't
that
that what
true?
you said? Your parents were very angry toward Dan.
Can I read the rest of the sentence?
Sure.
So I say, my parents are very angry towards him, but even when they're around my kids, they would never say a bad word about my kid's father.
And then on page 288, line 24 through page 289, line 1, and that's going to be, didn't you say, it's like my parents have more reason to dislike Danny than almost anyone else? Is that what you said?
That is what I said.
And that's because he hurt you, right?
And I was saying that in the context of talking to law enforcement for hours and hours and trying to help them figure out who might be responsible.
Right. And who did you tell them might be responsible?
Well, I told them many, many people. But are you asking about this particular moment right here?
You told them your family might be responsible.
Or potentially someone to do with a former student or his current girlfriend? I mentioned lots of people that I thought could be responsible.
Okay. And of the lots of people that could have been responsible, your family as well.
Yep.
Because they might have done this thinking it would help you. And that's what happened, right?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Your family had your ex-husband killed to try to help you, didn't they?
No, that's completely untrue.
And back to the divorce, the petition where Danny is responding to your petition for the motion to relocate. Are you familiar with that filing or do you need to take a look at it?
I need to take a look at it.
All right, it's going to be page 79 through 101, and this is back to our exhibit 56.
"Not very comfortable."
And again, that was the filing begins on page 79. I'm specifically interested in 82. And in this filing, doesn't Mr. Markel say, quote, the husband affirmatively alleges that the wife helped herself to non-marital assets, including money and stocks owned prior to marriage, as well as numerous personal non-marital belongings of the husband, such as luggage, bicycle, tennis racket, and family heirlooms. The wife has refused to return these items or to allow the husband into her home to see what other personal belongings were taken without his permission or acquiescence. So my point is, he's accusing you of theft in this paragraph.
Those are the words that are here, yes.
Yeah, and he's very adamantly objecting to your relocation, right? On page 82, it says the sole stated reason the wife seeks to relocate is so that she can be closer to her parents. Was being near your parents the sole reason that you wanted to relocate?
No.
It wasn't the sole reason stated in your petition?
It wasn't the sole reason stated in my petition, and it wasn't the sole reason that he and I talked about before I filed the motion to relocate.
Why was he so adamant and so confident that this was the real reason you wanted to be down there?
I think there's a lot of things in these pleadings that are not true. So just because it says something doesn't make it true.
Sure, but did he know that your mom was just grinding on this issue of trying to get you down there?
He would have had no idea.
He wouldn't have been, that wouldn't have been known to him?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But he was accusing you in these pleadings of all kind of stuff, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but hiding financial assets, failing to disclose things, kidnapping his kids in the middle of, his business trip, all those sorts of things, right?
Yes, he said lots of things.
And you said a lot of things too. There's filings going both ways that are pretty venomous. Would you agree with that?
I would not agree with that.
Yours were pleasant.
I'm not saying divorce filings are pleasant, but mine were not venomous.
Okay. Did your mother, Donna Adelson, review the filing in which Dan Markel is accusing you of this theft and all this stuff?
I don't remember if she did.
What about the one where Dan Markel is asking that your mother not be permitted to have unsupervised visitation with the kids?
My mom never saw that because after he filed that, he then asked my parents to babysit the kids. And my mom baked him banana bread, gave him a hug goodbye. So there was nothing truthful about that pleading that he filed. And my mom never saw it.
Why do you think he filed that?
He was really angry at me for leaving him.
Okay. So he didn't really want to limit your mom's visitation with the kids.
No,
And
he
that's
asked her to
evidence.
babysit after he filed that.
Evidenced by the banana bread. And so she didn't even know about that filing.
She never knew about it.
Okay. And when she laid all those options out in that email to you about other options that you could take to secure the relocation, as far as bribing, remember that? Converting the Christian children to Christianity, remember that suggestion?
I sure do.
That's wild.
What did she put in there that she viewed as your most non-negotiable and most important part of your divorce?
I don't know. Do you have something I can see?
States Exhibit 57. And it is page 1.
Oh,
Page 1, paragraph 2.
do you guys think that
So you want me to
Wendy
read what
was
she
in
said here?
on
I
it?
want you to answer the question. What was the most important part?
Of the divorce for my mom.
Yes.
It says here that for her it was relocation.
All right. And did you have 2 8-hour mediations in your divorce?
We had 2 very long mediations. I don't remember exactly how long they were, but
Did
felt
they
like a very
result
long
in a
time.
resolution?
No.
Was Mr. Markel seeking to depose your mom as part of the divorce?
I don't remember that.
Do you know if it ever happened?
I don't think it happened. I don't remember it.
Was the prospect of that upsetting to your mom?
I don't think so. I don't remember it. So I don't remember talking with her about it or,
Did your mom call Dan any disparaging names around this time frame?
well, I just read them in the emails, but I
Okay.
don't remember them independently.
Okay. Did she call him an asshole?
Yes.
A narcissist? A
Yes.
bully?
Yes.
Religious zealot?
Yes.
Bastard? Page 5. Yes. I'm sorry, what was your answer?
Yes.
Fucker?
Yes.
But in all the filings made on your behalf by the different lawyers that you had, and all of the emails that your mom sent, he was never described as abusive.
I mean, he was described as emotionally abusive. Yes.
Can you show me where he was described as emotionally abusive in any of those items?
Well, not by my mom, but in the pleadings.
Okay, show me that.
It's going to take me a while to find it.
Okay, well, it's
You want me
not in there, but you can get back to me.
Well,
with
it is in there.
Your Honor.
Let me get back with me on
The
it.
comment, she's not testifying.
Hold on, please, bro.
Hey guys, don't forget to like the stream, and if you want to share an emoji, that might help. Trying to get back into the swing of things. post vacation #1, so it's been a little slow. And anything will help. Thank you. Tell me what you guys did this last weekend.
Last comment by Ms. Keppelman. You may continue.
So would you have to review the whole file in order to find that, or could you just give us a starting point of which filing it might be located in?
It might be under the petition to relocate. It might be under the initial divorce proceedings. It wouldn't be in emails from my mom, but it would take a while to find it. It might be in the depositions.
Okay. Did you view yourself as being stuck here in Tallahassee once the relocation was denied?
I didn't. I mean, I had a really nice life here. I did not view myself as being stuck.
Would you please turn to page 176 in that exhibit in front of you?
That's not what I wrote, Wendy.
I think it's highlighted for you. Did you describe yourself in that filing as being stuck in Tallahassee?
I don't see it. You said it was highlighted, but there's nothing highlighted.
Okay. 176. My page. I didn't highlight it for you.
Okay. I see the word stuck. I found it.
Okay. So did you describe at least in one occasion being stuck in Tallahassee?
No, can I read the sentence?
Sure.
So it says, the husband has made it difficult for the wife with her colleagues at her current position due to his statements and actions. And the husband's intent is to relocate to a larger area at some point. So the wife is merely stuck in Tallahassee until the husband decides that the time is right for him to leave.
All right.
Meaning,
And had he accepted a job anywhere else by the time that he was murdered?
no, he hadn't yet been offered a job, but he was always looking.
Okay. So he was just going to move and just let you have the kids at that point?
He probably would have done what I did, which is have a conversation and see if it was a place that made sense for both of us to live.
And would you have moved to wherever he got a great job and started a new life there?
Potentially, yeah.
I'm going to turn on the
Would you like
Wi-Fi to
did.
help with the screen resolution.
And you said, I think you did say this, but let me clarify. Was your mom aware of the order denying relocation?
My mom was aware of the order denying
And
relocation.
what about your brother, Charlie? Was he aware of that as well?
I'm sure
Yeah.
my mom would have said something to him.
All right. So did your mom suggest any ways that you might coerce Dan Markel to let you move with the kids to South Florida?
Yes, I think we talked about.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Because I just switched on the Wi-Fi. That should help. I was a bit laggy.
The defense. Another bribe to get him to allow relocation should be the offer of plane tickets so that he can fly back and forth, right? So you're going to potentially offer this big monetary benefit that would allow him to fly back and forth to work. Is that the idea?
I never said that I was going to do any of that.
Okay. Was that the idea that your mom had?
That was the idea.
All right. And the amount of the bribe is going to be, or was at least discussed as being $1 million. Is that right?
That is what they said.
Okay. And did you agree with that?
No.
Would that have worked?
I have no idea if it would have worked, but
You think he might have taken $1 million to let his kids go?
well, he wasn't letting his kids go. He would have moved to South Florida and he would have commuted back and forth to his job. So maybe,
Well, then why wasn't it offered?
because I didn't want to do it.
Huh.
All right. What about the idea that you could try to threaten Dan to convert the kids to Christianity so that they can fit into the Bible Belt here in Tallahassee? Is that something your mom suggested in these emails?
My mom did suggest that.
Okay. And specifically, this is on page 7 of the exhibit. Let Jibbers know that your children will be baptized in the Catholic Church. Have a picture made of them in front of the church, all that kind of thing. That's what your mom suggested at one time.
She did, yes.
Okay. And did you do any of those things?
No, I don't even think I responded to it.
Do you know whether the defendant, your brother Charlie, was supportive of the plan to convert them or pose as converting them to
I have no
Christianity?
idea. I don't think he was particularly involved in this round of my mom's
On
emails.
page 11 of the exhibit,
Did a
there's
pipe
an indication
burst?
from your mom that Charlie at least has discussed this with her and maybe is somewhat supportive. Charlie brought up a good point when he said that Americans were dropped behind enemy lines during World War II wearing Nazi uniforms to get what they wanted. They had a job to get done and they did what they needed to do to accomplish it. You have a job to get done in a very short time frame to accomplish it. If you dressed your kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms and brought them down here, I could care less if it was an act of defiance that would show Jibbers that he's, all caps and bold, not in control. So it just seems like your mom was pretty extreme
Oh,
about the
shoot.
situation of getting you relocated. Can you
I think
agree
she
with
was-
that?
Yeah.
All right. And Charlie was at least consulted on it or had offered some information about it.
Well, that was my mom's rendition, so I don't know.
76 in that
All right,
exhibit in
I
front
got
of
it.
you.
I feel like
I think it's highlighted for you.
We gotta watch this with Charlie on full screen.
Did you describe yourself in that filing as being stuck in Tallahassee?
I don't see it. You said it was highlighted, but there's nothing highlighted.
Okay. 176. My page. I didn't highlight it for you. Okay. Just a moment.
I see the word stuck. I found it.
Okay. So did you describe at least in one occasion being stuck in Tallahassee?
No, can I read the sentence?
Sure.
I feel like Charlie is probably thinking to himself, this is a trial about me. Where is this going? Right? That's the look, the impression I'm getting from the looks.
So it says, the husband has made it difficult for the wife with her colleagues at her current position due to his statements and actions. And the husband's intent is to relocate to a larger area at some point. So the wife is merely stuck in Tallahassee until the husband decides that the time is right for him to leave.
All right.
Meaning,
And had he accepted a job anywhere else by the time that he was murdered?
no, he hadn't yet been offered a job, but he was always looking.
Okay. So he was just going to move and just let you have the kids at that point?
He probably would have done what I did, which is have a conversation and see if it was a place that made sense for both of us to live.
And would you have moved to wherever he got a great job and started a new life there?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay. Did you like Tallahassee?
I did.
And you said, I think you did say this, but let me clarify. Was your mom aware of the order denying relocation?
My mom was aware of the order denying
And
relocation.
what about your brother, Charlie? Was he aware of that as well?
I'm sure my mom would have said something to him.
All right. So did your mom suggest any ways that you might coerce Dan Markell to let you move with the kids to
This
South
is it.
Florida?
Yes, I think we talked about that before.
We did. And for this, I'm referring back to those emails. And in particular, the bribe. So another bribe to get him to allow relocation. I'm on page 5 of the first email for the defense. Another bribe to get him to allow relocation should be the offer of plane tickets so that he can fly back and forth, right? So you're going to potentially offer this big monetary benefit that would allow him to fly back and forth to work. Is that the idea?
I never said that I was going to do any of that.
Okay. Was that the idea that your mom had?
That was the idea.
All right. And the amount of the bribe is going to be, or was at least discussed as being $1 million. Is that right?
That is what they said.
Okay. And did you agree with that?
No.
Would that have worked?
I have no idea if it would have worked, but
You think he might have taken $1 million to let his kids go?
well, he wasn't letting his kids go. He would have moved to South Florida and he would have commuted back and forth to his job. So maybe,
Well, then why wasn't it offered?
Look at that
because I didn't want
face.
to do it.
All right. What about the idea that you could try to threaten Dan to convert the kids to Christianity so that they can fit into the Bible Belt here in Tallahassee? Is that something your mom suggested in these emails?
My mom did suggest that.
Okay. And specifically, this is on page 7 of the exhibit.
Okay, here it is. This is what I'm most.
Let dribbers know that your children will be baptized in the Catholic Church. Have a picture made of them in front of the church, all that kind of thing. That's what your mom suggested at one time.
She did, yes.
Okay. And did you do any of those things?
No, I don't even think I responded to it.
Do you know whether the defendant, your brother Charlie, was supportive of the plan to convert them or pose as converting them to
I have no
Christianity?
idea. I don't think he was particularly involved in this round of my mom's
On
emails.
page 11 of the exhibit, there's an indication from your mom that Charlie at least has discussed this with her and maybe is somewhat supportive. Charlie brought up a good point when he said that Americans were dropped behind enemy lines during World War II wearing Nazi uniforms to get what they wanted. They had a job to get done and they did what they needed to do to accomplish it. You have a job to get done in a very short time frame to accomplish it. If you dressed your kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms and brought them down here, I could care less if it was an act of defiance that would show gibbers that he's, all caps and bold, not in control. So it just seems like your mom was pretty extreme about the situation of getting you relocated. Can you
I think
agree
she
with
was-
that?
Yeah.
All right. And Charlie was at least consulted on it or had offered some information about it.
Well, that was my mom's rendition, so I don't know if that's what actually happened or that was her perception.
Sure. Were you involved in the effort to consult a lawyer about the bribe and whether that was going to be legal?
I wasn't the lawyer consulted in that.
No. Were you involved in consulting a lawyer with your
No.
mom? Okay. Do you know for sure if any financial offer was or was not made to Dan Markell?
I couldn't say for sure if they made it to Danny without me knowing, but I don't think so.
Is that something they would do, is try to negotiate with him behind your back or deal with this situation behind your back?
I don't think so. I think I would have known. Danny probably would have told me.
But you definitely didn't extend any of these offers or threats. When was the divorce final?
The summer of 2013.
All right, I'm gonna switch gears for a minute and talk about phone stuff. Was your cell phone collected by the police in this case after Dan was shot?
I gave the police my cell phone and asked them to search it if it could be useful.
All right. And around the time of the murder, was your number 954-803-0079?
It was.
And can you agree that the numbers, let me show you an exhibit.
Did I get tan today? Am I tan yet?
Okay. I want to explain what it is. Okay. Yeah, so I talked a lot about converting to Christianity, but I didn't
Maybe a
mention
little.
what religion you are. We talked about Dan being more religious than you are, but we didn't talk about what religion you are. So could you explain that to the jury, please?
Sure, I'm Jewish.
And Dan was as well, right?
And Danny was Jewish as well.
Okay. So I had this exhibit 59. This is not 59. Yes, that's what we did.
Maybe does anyone live in the attic? I know some people have like rooms in the attic.
All right, you may not be able to do this, but stage 59, I've got phone numbers
Next
attributed
up, the
to your
basement.
family members. Obviously, you don't know other people. Are those phone numbers accurate, if you know, for the time
Yes.
frame around the murder?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and then you are also familiar with the wiretap that was conducted in this case?
Yes.
And did I provide you a disc labeled disc 107, ask you to review some calls and see if you could authenticate the voices on those calls?
Yes.
All right, and for that, I made you a little spreadsheet, which I've marked as 61. And were you able to initial by each call indicating that the highlighted names are the voices of the people they purport to be?
Yes.
Judge, at this time, I asked you to evidence state 61.
No objection.
State 61 is admitted.
All right, and if we can shift back to, we talked about your divorce being final. Once the divorce was final, weren't there still a lot of filings that went back and forth between both you and Dan Markell?
Yes and no. The divorce was final. We had a final settlement agreement.
Mhm.
The agreement was I take my name off the title to the house. He pays me half the value to the house. So for within the first week, I went and took my name off the title to the house, and I waited until October when he was supposed to get back to me. He never paid me the money. And so I called and I asked what happened. That was the
Where's
deal.
my
And he said, I have
money?
compelling reasons. I'm not going to pay you. And so I made one filing, a motion to enforce the settlement agreement because he didn't do it.
Right, so you believe that he owed you money pursuant to the settlement agreement. And he was
Yes.
in violation of the settlement agreement.
Yes.
And he was of the belief that you had withheld some financial things from your affidavit, and maybe he didn't owe you the money that you had previously agreed on because you had not been honest in the initial disclosures, right?
He accused my attorney of having unclean hands and committing a crime.
Yeah, and assisting you in withholding this money from the
Correct.
disclosures. Okay. All right, so I want to ask you about the motion to enforce marital settlement agreement and hold Dan Markell in contempt of court. That was filed, you may need to refresh your memory, October 31st, 2013. Give you the exhibit 56 and have you take a look at, this is going to be on 338.
I'm using my mom's iPad. I haven't used an iPad in ages.
All right, could you just read the title, the caption of that filing?
Motion to enforce marital settlement agreement and to show cause why the former husband should not be held in contempt of court.
What does it mean to be held in contempt of court?
It means not to be doing what the court has asked you to do.
What can happen to you if you're held in contempt of court?
I don't know really.
Could you be jailed?
Really?
All right. And when was this filed? This was you filing it, right? I mean, you're the client.
Right.
You're asking that he be held in contempt. And
I
you don't know
filed
what
this-
that means?
At the time I filed, which was 10 years ago,
Oh, okay. Well, refresh your recollection with the
Okay.
document. Goes through 340.
Uh-oh.
okay, I have it.
Okay. So what was it you were asking for in this motion?
It was what I just mentioned. So basically, I took my name off the title to the house. He never paid. This was asking him to pay.
Cough up the money or be held in contempt?
Yep.
Okay. And what day was this filed?
This was filed on October 31st, 2013.
All right. So Halloween of 13. And that's the same day that you backed out of the contract to purchase the house in Tallahassee, right?
I don't
Remember
remember what day that was.
Okay.
Difficult.
You remember that it was your brother, Charlie, that specifically convinced you to back out of that particular house deal?
I don't actually. I don't remember that.
What are we debating over here, Georgia? I really love this prosecutor.
And see if these text messages refresh your recollection. Okay. And you may have to look around for context, but I'm specifically looking at this one. Okay.
You can tell it was summer in Florida. Her hair's all frizzy.
Okay.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Honestly, I mean, I can read what's here, but I still don't remember.
Don't really remember. And after
You're on mute until my mom
emails where you were saying you can't answer the phone, you're crying too hard about the house. Like you seem genuinely upset about pulling the plug on the house, but now you don't remember it?
Well, it's been 10 years.
Sure.
So a lot of terrible things have happened since then. It's hard to remember.
Don't recall.
I really liked the house and was excited about it, but it was more than I can afford at the time. That's what I remember, is talking with the real estate agent and having her say we'd find another house, and it wasn't the right one.
Would you have any reason to dispute that occurred on Halloween of 2013?
No, it probably did. I just don't remember.
Okay. And then a few months later, on February 14th of 2014, there was another filing. I want to draw your attention to page 379 and ask you what that document is.
Do you want me to read the title of the document?
Yes, please.
Former husband's counter motion to enforce marital settlement agreements, financial provisions, and incorporated motion for sanctions.
Do you remember this filing?
I don't remember this filing, but in anticipation of my testimony today, I refreshed and reread it.
Okay. And he accuses you in this filing of breaching the marital settlement agreement in various ways, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And committing a fraud upon the court by omitting the $200,000 in assets from your financial affidavit.
That is
in
what he
there?
was alleging.
And asked the court to sanction you.
Yes, that's what he
And-
said.
Okay. So again, you're both seeking the court to sanction each other. I mean, them's fighting words and lawyer terms, right?
Well, I was filing a motion to enforce a settlement agreement, so I don't think that's really fighting words. That's just asking the court to.
My parents did this BS to each other when they were getting divorced. And I can tell you guys with absolute certainty that my parents, well, at least up until last year, and it may have changed, had the longest lasting divorce on record for the county for which they lived in. Think about that. Anyone want to take a stab at how long that lasted?
Complete what it already said it wanted to do.
Okay. And on page 379, Dan suggests that the court send a strong message about your malfeasance by awarding him the entirety of the undisclosed assets of over $200,000, right?
That is what he asked for.
Okay. And then on March 10th of 2014, on page 437, do you respond with your motion to dismiss the former husband's counter motion to enforce the marital settlement agreement that we just talked about?
I'm sorry, what is the page number?
437.
I'm not familiar with this, but do you want me to read through it?
Could you read the caption aloud, please?
Sure. Motion to dismiss the
Longer.
former husband's counter motion to enforce marital settlement agreements, financial provisions, and incorporated motion for sanctions for failure to state a cause of action, and motion to strike as a sham pleading, and motion to strike as redundant, immaterial, impertinent, and scandalous pleading.
And then if you'll go to page 439, do you see a paragraph that begins the vast majority of the former husband's motion?
Actually, don't see that. On page 439?
Yes, ma'am. I think I have it. Hold on.
On number 8.
Yeah, the vast majority of the former husband's motion contains allegations that are redundant, immaterial, impertinent, and scandalous. Yada, yada. He's making false and immaterial statements against you. His pleadings only prove that he is a disgruntled former husband who cannot move past this disillusion. So it's getting personal. Would you agree with that?
My attorney here is responding to his pleading, which was over the top.
And this is over the top, right?
I don't think so, no.
Then 6 days later, Dan files another motion seeking action against your mother. And that's the one we've already touched on. That's page 441. Is that right?
Page 441.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's what we talked about.
Okay. Former husband's counter motion for enforcement of marital settlement agreement on parenting issues and motion for contempt and sanctions. Here he's alleging, again, more violations of the marital settlement agreement, including communication between he and the boys. He wasn't happy with how much communication was happening, failing to keep him informed of where his kids are, failure to communicate about parenting decisions like the kid's schooling, diet, and extracurricular activities, and
Diet.
refusal to provide him access to the kids on their birthdays. So he's complaining about a lot of things associated with
That's
this, not just
crappy.
money stuff, it's parenting stuff too, right?
That's right.
And isn't it in this motion that, yes, sir?
Oh, I said that. That's right.
Isn't it in this motion that Dan Markell seeks to enjoin you from allowing your mother from spending time with the kids without supervision?
Can you please show me which page that's on?
450.
450.
Do you see a paragraph beginning on 3 specific occasions?
Yes, I do.
Could you read that, please?
8A, on 3 specific occasions in November 2013, the children informed Mr. Markell, Abba, Dad, Grandma says you're stupid. When queried as to why Grandma, the maternal grandmother, would say such things, the children replied jointly that it is because she says you are trying to take her sunshines away from her.
And continue, please.
In December 2013,
You don't have to say the name.
Yeah.
Your child.
my child, the younger son, further stated to Mr. Markell in front of the former wife, Abba, Grandma says she hates you. The children were visiting with their grandparents at that time.
Mr. Markell is concerned that continued exposure to such negativity forms a foundation for parental alienation. Is that what he was alleging about your mom?
That is what he is alleging in this document, yes.
And this was filed in court.
He filed this in court.
On what date?
It will be at the front of the document, right?
Yes, ma'am. Page 441.
This was filed on March 26th, 2014.
And this was the filing that never got ruled on, right?
I don't believe there was any ruling on
And
this.
that's because Dan Markell was killed before the hearing, right?
I don't know when it was scheduled for.
It wasn't even scheduled yet.
Okay.
It was waiting to be scheduled when he was killed. Is it fair to say your mom was worried about this motion?
No, my mom never knew about this motion. And as I mentioned before, Danny asked my mom to babysit after filing this motion, so I don't really believe anything that's written here.
Well, you forwarded this motion to your mother.
Don't believe I
via
did.
email. In fact, you forwarded this motion to 12 different people.
Oh,
Your mom, Jeffrey Lacasse,
Oh.
Renee Griggs, Tova Walsh, Morgan Honeycutt, Gary Cohen, Miguel Edmondson, Trey Hubler, Robert Adelson, Rachel Frank, Jared Reich, and some MEHULNYC@yahoo.com. So if you weren't worried about this, why'd you send it to all these people?
I couldn't really say. It's been a long time.
And then a couple days later, we know what happened.
So this was in March. So a couple days, I sent it to people in July when Danny
You
was killed.
sent it, I'm sorry, you sent it a couple days later.
I sent
That email to 12
Maybe
different
tell
people.
me
in
if I
March.
need
Yes.
to mute my background at any point, please. I'm creating something beautiful for you guys. Spending a lot of time on it too. I heard that.
Everyone can be seated. Ralph, Bob, do you have a copy of the emails?
I've got a copy of, I think, what you're using.
All right.
Judge, what he
Yes.
was the question I was asking her that Mr. Rashbaum is referencing was about her forwarding something to 12 people, which I didn't, that was not in the exhibit, but he does have a copy of the exhibit now. I did not introduce into evidence the email forwarding, so I think we're on the same page. on
All
email.
right. Ms. Adelson, come back in and take the witness stand. Also, you can be seated. I also have to let the court reporter get set. She is the woman of the hour. Please bring in the jurors.
So you weren't here on Friday, Will. I hope that you have a absence note. Because you know this is court. We are looking into the Charlie Adelson trial because he has submitted, or his attorneys have gone before the courts and argued that he needs a new trial. And we figured what better way to determine if he does indeed deserve a new trial than for us,
Have the frogs or crickets or whatever that was. Turn it off.
to rewatch. And All right, you're excused. I recognize working on your fitness is probably a valid excuse. So you are excused. And so we're looking into this, and this isn't that long, which is perfect because there are like so many cases coming up that we can jump into, but I do want to finish this one. We are going to skip over any tedious, really, really boring witnesses, but it is my goal that we go through this. Thank you very much, Miss Maybe.
Definitely not what we're all here.
He has such a ginormous forehead. Can't be dumb with a head that big. That's for sure. You know what? That's what I'm gonna say from now on when people tell me like I have a big forehead. Because I have a big head with all the education I've received. You are so welcome. If you hear random chatter in the background, that is my mother. She is on the phone. In the room that I'm in today, they wanted to like make an additional room. So it's just like a screen, and on the other side of that is a kitchen and like a living room. So unless she goes into one of the other rooms with a door or the garage, we're gonna hear Dolores. So in other words, I may end up in the garage. God, guys, the bathroom is just like out of control. It's the nicest bathroom. I think it has heated floors. I think. Why someone in Florida needs heated floors, I don't know. But do you guys think it's possible? I know my ADD is really bad today. To get a migraine due to going from regular Coke to Diet Coke. The last 2 days I've had pretty rough headaches. And I'm only drinking Coca-Cola or Diet Coke here because that's what my mom drinks. And I'm like, it's coming back at me. So if you see me popping pills, it's Tylenol. Relax. It's actually the Aleve and Tylenol mix. They should sponsor me. Yes, I know this, Will. You don't have to tell me that. It's like smoking. But I love it.
Everyone
love
can be seated.
I have Coca-Cola.
Couple, then you can
Christmas tree
resume your
ornaments.
examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to talk a little bit about your brother, Charlie. Is he an older brother or a younger brother to you?
I'm the youngest of three, so I have two older brothers. They're both older than me.
All right, and he's the middle child, Charlie?
That's right.
All right, and
I don't
closer
do
to Charlie
Coke
or to your
Zero.
other brother?
I'm closer to Charlie.
How much time were you spending with Charlie back in 2013 and 2014?
Not a lot of time. I was in Tallahassee. He was in South Florida.
Did he work a lot?
He worked a lot, yeah.
And did he work at one location or travel around?
He would travel around. He worked at multiple locations.
Was he pretty successful in his job?
Yeah, he came up with a great business model for what he did, and he worked really hard and was very successful.
Was your brother known to carry a lot of cash?
I I mean, he had cash on him sometimes. I never saw large sums of cash.
Did you ever see stapled cash?
I never saw stapled cash.
Were you familiar with his practice of stapling cash together in stacks?
No, I never knew about that.
Was your brother
That's
Charlie
kinda
protective of you?
crazy.
I mean, when I was a little kid.
What
Yeah.
about as an adult?
As an adult? I mean, not particularly.
Is it fair to say that during the year or so leading up to the murder of Dan Markell that your brother did not like your ex?
I mean, I don't think he probably didn't like him, but I also think he didn't spend a lot of time thinking about him.
Did he ever like him?
Yeah, I mean, I think they got along fine.
Did your brother ever mention hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markell?
No.
I'm going to turn your attention to your law enforcement interview, and I'm referring to page 25, lines 13 through 15.
Makeup. Why don't you put on a little bit of makeup? Get it?
So this is down here.
Okay.
All right, so page 25. You find it?
Yes.
Quote, "It was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV." Is that what he said?
That was a joke that he made. Yes.
And hiring the hitman, that was to kill Dan Markell, right? That was the joke,
That was the joke that he made in poor taste. Yes.
not to kill someone else.
No. Well, he never used his name.
Okay. Well, he's hiring you the TV because it's cheaper as a divorce present than a hitman. Who else would he be hitting with the hitman?
I never really thought about it because it was not a thing that he meant. He just made a bad joke.
Well, you repeated the joke, didn't you?
He repeated the joke
Didn't you also repeat the joke?
to other people.
Yes, like Jeff Lacoste.
I never said that to Jeff Lacasse.
You didn't tell Jeff Lacoste that your brother got you that TV as a divorce present because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
I may have repeated that joke in the context of the TV. Yes.
All right. And
Ooh.
who is Jeff Lacoste?
Jeff Lacasse was a person I dated in 2013.
And did you tell Jeffrey Lacoste shortly before the actual murder that your brother really had looked into hiring a hitman?
I did not.
Did he buy you a TV as a divorce present?
Did my brother buy me a TV as a divorce present?
Yes, sorry, I should have
Yes.
clarified that. And was the TV that your brother bought you as a divorce present the same TV that was being repaired on the morning of the murder?
Yes.
Did your mom text you that morning that the repair guy was coming to repair the TV?
I don't remember that
Why would your mom have been involved in your TV repair appointment?
because I didn't purchase the TV. The TV was a gift that my brother paid for, but my mom went and got it and he reimbursed her. So the contract would have been under her name and her number. So when the repair guy was coming, they may have called or texted the number on the account instead of my number.
Okay. And after the murder, do you recall going to a dinner where you got sick at the table?
It was about a month later. And yes, I remember.
Where did that dinner occur? Was that here in Tallahassee or somewhere else?
No, it was in Miami.
All right. And was it like a out at
Could you imagine sitting at a very nice restaurant in Miami with your brother and his girlfriend and out of nowhere just vomiting all over yourself? Like, I know that happened a lot when we were kids because we couldn't tell like when things like that were going to happen. But to be a grown ass woman and just be like eating dinner and just throw up on yourself, that would be unforgettable.
a restaurant?
It was at a restaurant.
All right. And when we say you got sick at the table, did
Okay,
you actually
maybe.
vomit at the table?
I threw up at the table.
All right. And did you ever hear your brother refer to that particular dinner as a celebratory dinner?
No,
Did you tell Jeffrey Lacoste that your brother called that a celebratory dinner?
I did not.
Was that
One moment, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Here's overruled.
was that dinner a celebration of the murder of your ex-husband?
Absolutely not. That dinner was the first time I left my house after over a month because I was terrified. And if it was a celebration of anything, it was a celebration that I was willing to leave the house and eat a meal.
Do you know Catherine Magbanua, or have you ever met her?
I have met her.
Did you have an independent friendship with her, or did you only know her through your brother?
I only knew her through my brother.
What was her relationship to your brother?
They dated at some point.
Was there anything unusual about her as a girlfriend from your viewpoint at the time?
No.
So she seemed like a typical kind of girl that he would date?
She did.
Did you meet
He
all
was
his
into
girlfriends?
Asian girls.
I don't know. I met many girlfriends.
Okay. Did you meet Whitney Kick?
I did.
Okay. And Whitney Kick was after Catherine Magbanua, correct?
I believe so.
All right. And there's a photograph, I'm sure you recall, of you on the beach with Catherine Magbanua. Do you recall when that photo was taken?
I do. It was Father's Day 2014, so 9 years ago.
June 15th of
Let's
2014?
show it,
That sounds
baby.
right.
So about a month before the murder.
That sounds right.
Where was this photo taken?
It was in Miami. I went down to visit my dad for Father's Day.
Approaching and showing you what I've marked at states 35. Is this that photograph? And I've attached the data associated with it.
Yes.
Okay. Is there an accurate copy of that photograph?
Yes.
Judge, I'd ask him to the at states 35.
Okay.
Yes, 35.
Permission to publish?
Yeah.
Publish 35. Oh, that's right. Yeah. All right, is that you in the center?
That's me.
Which one's Catherine McBanoa?
The one on the left, our left in the picture.
And how long had Ms. McBanoa been dating your brother at the time this photo was taken?
I have no idea.
How many times had you met Ms. McBanoa at the time this was taken?
I think once before,
Okay, how many times did you hang out with her total?
just these 2 times. Once at the dinner when I met her, and then once at the beach for an hour.
Was the relationship between your brother and Catherine McBanoa serious, if you know?
I don't know. I mean, 10 years ago, was it serious? Not too serious.
It never stood out to you during that time frame as like, oh, this is the one.
No.
Did you just answer a question with a question?
All right, so you
Wendy?
mentioned you thought Whitney Kick was after Catherine McBanoa. What about June Umchinda? Do you know which one that is?
When you say, do I know which one that is? She's not in the picture.
No, ma'am. You're one of your brother's girlfriends, June Umchinda. Do you know her?
I met someone in June.
Okay, and would you agree that was also after Catherine McBanoa?
Yes, that would have been after.
When did you learn that Catherine McBanoa was blackmailing your brother for the murder of your ex-husband?
Today.
So he never told you?
Wow.
No.
Show
You
Charlie's
testified in
face.
Catherine McBanoa's murder trial last year, didn't you?
I did, yes.
And she was convicted
She was convicted, yes.
of murder,
Yes, of murder.
of murdering Dan Markell.
If I had known that, we would have watched that first. Depending on how long that trial is, I wouldn't be opposed to watching it.
Of murdering my children's
Crime?
father, yes.
A crime for which she apparently is innocent because she was just a conduit for Sigfredo Garcia. Did you learn that today along with all of us?
Well, I learned that someone made that argument. I don't know whether it's true or not true.
Okay, you have no knowledge of it.
I have no knowledge.
In all the years this has been pending,
In all of the years this has been pending,
your
I
brother has known who killed your child's father, and you didn't know.
did
Wow.
not know.
Do you know why Catherine McBanoa was on the payroll at the Adelson Institute?
I believe that she worked there.
What did she do there?
I know my brother met her at a dental
Thank
office, so I'm
you.
guessing administrative work of some kind.
Did you ever observe her doing administrative work there?
No.
How did the killers in this case know that Dan Markell was planning to leave town the day after the killing?
I have no idea.
You knew he was planning to leave town the next day, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Did you convey that information to anyone?
Absolutely not.
To your knowledge, did your brother have that information?
I don't know why he would have known that.
So if the killers were told it has to be done today because he's leaving town tomorrow, we don't know how they knew that.
I have no idea how they knew that.
Yeah.
But it would have to come
See,
from someone familiar with Dan Markell's schedule, wouldn't it?
They would have to find out somehow. I don't know how.
Prior to Dan Markell's murder, when were you last in South Florida? Was it this trip that's pictured here?
No, because it was my dad's 70th birthday in early July, so I would have gone down
Ooh.
to celebrate his birthday.
when they
Okay,
ate
when's that
paella,
birthday?
July 5th.
How long were you down there for that July 5th trip?
I don't really remember offhand, but my guess is about a week.
paella.
Did you see Charlie Adelson on that trip?
Yes. We celebrated my dad's birthday, the whole family and friends, everybody.
Did you see Catherine McBanoa on that trip?
I don't remember if she was there or not.
Did Dad have a birthday party?
Dad had a birthday party.
Was it a big birthday?
It was his 70th birthday.
And was Catherine McBanoa at the party?
I don't remember seeing her there.
Do you remember seeing June Umchinda at the party?
I don't.
Or Whitney Kick at the party?
I don't.
So it could have been any one of them or none of them.
Or none of them. I don't remember there being a girlfriend with him at the party.
All right, so you said the birthday was what, July 5th?
It would have been July 5th.
Okay. And do you know on what day you celebrated?
Maybe his birthday. If it was, I felt like it was a weekend. So maybe if July 5th was a Saturday, then it was on his actual birthday.
Okay, tell me about the event. Who, you said there were family and friends there, about how many people?
Maybe like 50 people.
What was
A
on the
lot of
menu?
friends. Well, he's a dumb.
We had paella.
What you got?
Were you responsible for securing the paella or is that your brother's job or someone else?
I didn't arrange it, but I speak Spanish and no one else could communicate with him. So I spent some time helping him. That's why I remember what we ate.
Okay. Did your dad get any big gifts for his 70th?
I don't remember.
Did you, so there was no big lead up and discussion about some big gift that you were involved in at least?
I don't remember. I don't remember if I gave him a present. I hope I did.
Do you remember what anybody gave him for that birthday?
I really don't.
Was the murder of Dan Markell your dad's big gift?
I mean, that's, of course not. That's a horrible thing to say.
What about the, well, What about the grandchildren, getting full unfettered access to the grandchildren?
My
Could that have
parents
been
had
the
full
big
unfettered
gift?
access to their grandchildren always.
Not when they lived in Tallahassee.
Well, whenever they could come up and see them, they did.
They were 50% of the time with Dan Markell, right?
Sure, but whenever they were with me, they had full unfettered access.
On the occasion that we're talking about Dad's birthday, was that one of the times that when you came back to Tallahassee, your parents rode with you and then rented a car and drove home in the rental car?
It was.
And how long a drive is that?
It's about 7 hours.
During that 7-hour trip or at any time when you were in South Florida, was there any discussion of a murder at all?
No, absolutely not.
Any discussion of what to do about Dan?
No.
Any further discussion about bribing, converting to Christianity, any of those strategies?
No, that ship had long sailed.
Any discussion on that trip about the pending motion to preclude your mom from having contact with the kids?
No.
What was wrong with the TV that was repaired the morning of the murder?
I think one of my boys might have thrown something at it. There was like a little crack in the
Like,
TV.
what child would do that?
How long had the TV been broken at the time that it got repaired?
I honestly don't remember.
Could it have been a long time, quite a long time?
No, it could have been. I mean, I would be completely speculating. I don't remember how long it was broken for.
Do you remember who repaired the TV?
Yes, it was called the Geek Squad.
Do you remember the window that the Geek Squad gave you for when they were going to be at your home to do this repair?
I do. I think they said it was 8 to 12 or 9 to 1, something like that.
Okay. Would you agree with me if I told you it was 8 to 12?
That sounds right.
All right. And do you recall what time the repairman actually arrived?
No, but I remember they came on the early side.
Okay. And was the repair done?
No,
Why not?
because I called my brother to find out how much a new TV would cost versus how much the repair cost, and it didn't make sense to repair it.
It's cheaper to buy a new TV.
Yeah.
The records indicate the repairman was there for about 45 minutes. Does that sound accurate to you?
Sure, that's my best. Sure.
Why was he there for that long just to tell you like this thing can't be repaired or it's cost prohibitive to
Well,
repair? Do you remember?
I don't. My guess is he was there to try to see how he could repair the TV, and then he gave me an estimate, and then I found out what the estimate compared to the cost of a new TV would be.
Who paid the repairman?
I did.
The repairman, you're familiar with his statement that you seemed really upset that day. What were you upset about?
I have no idea.
Were you upset that day?
I don't remember being. Oh, yes, I was upset that day. I was upset. I remember Danny wanted to take the kids swimming, and I wanted to pick them up earlier in the day.
Okay,
And
so nothing to do with the TV.
I don't think so. I probably wasn't that upset about the TV.
Did you ever use the TV as code for the murder?
No.
Did you ever hear your mom do that?
No.
Do you remember on July 13th, 2014, seeing Jeffrey Lacasse at your place on Aqua Ridge? Do you even remember that evening?
I don't remember seeing him at my place because by that point we were kind of broken up. So I don't think I would have seen him at my place.
All right. So on that occasion, you couldn't have told him you wanted to share something with him in confidence.
I think that would be very unlikely. We had kind of broken up at that point.
And you couldn't have told him at that time the statement about your brother really did look into hiring a hitman.
I can't imagine I would have said that.
And when did you break up with Mr. Lacasse, or when did the two of you break up?
It would have been end of June, 2014.
So not 4 days before the murder?
No,
All right. So end of June 2014 would have been the last time you saw him.
no. I saw him after that. We were talking and kind of figuring out what we wanted to do, but we had gone on a trip to Gainesville the last weekend in June,
Mm-hmm.
at which point we had a big argument and I really didn't want to be with him after that. So at that point for me, I was pretty much done, but there were more discussions until it, formally ended.
And when was the formal end?
I remember seeing him that Monday night and telling him I wanted to have some space.
Okay. So 4 days before the murder?
So 4 days before Danny was killed.
All right. And that was that the end of your relationship with him?
When I told him I wanted some space, yeah.
Where did you go after the TV repair man left?
After he left, I stayed at the house for a while and I was working on some pieces of writing. I was talking with various friends. I had a friend in town interviewing for a job at FSU. I was making plans to go meet her. The time got too close before her interview. And then I had two friends that I would often meet on Fridays, just kind of last minute. And so we made plans to go have lunch.
All right. So what time did you leave the house to go have lunch?
I really didn't remember offhand, but I refreshed my memory and saw it was sometime around 12:45.
Okay. So it makes sense that you might have left your residence at about 12:30.
Sure.
Okay. And did you go to the crime scene or very near the crime scene on your way from your residence to, I guess, to lunch or to wherever you were going next?
No, I did not.
So you never turned on Trescott Drive that day?
I went to turn on Trescott Drive, but I saw that it had been blocked off by some tape. And so I just kept driving on Centerville.
Okay. And when you had to turn around at the tape, right, to go back
I
out?
think I tried to turn right and it couldn't turn. So I would have made the kind of turn, like a K turn, and kept going.
Was there a roadblock there with,
There was tape.
and an officer was there?
I
With
didn't see an officer, but I did see a car.
a law enforcement marked vehicle? Okay. Did you have any contact with the officer?
No.
Okay. Did you do anything after that to try to find out what was going on down that roadway?
No, I just assumed it was weather or maybe a tree fell.
Had there been bad weather that day?
No, but it was summertime and there's electrical storms and trees fall. So that would have been pretty normal for summertime.
Where were your kids supposed to be at the time that you encountered that roadblock?
They would have been at school.
And that's at the creative preschool?
That's right.
Who took them to preschool that day?
Danny.
Wow.
And who was supposed to pick them up from preschool that day?
Me.
All right. So did you know for sure that they had made it to preschool that day at the time you encountered the roadblock?
I just assumed. I mean, if they hadn't made it to preschool, Danny would have let me know. But
Did you attempt to call Dan Markell when you encountered the roadblock?
no, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was related to the house.
Had you talked to Dan Markell or your kids
You
that morning?
deserve it,
My kids
girl.
know that that would have been normal. And Danny and I tried to get in touch with each other, but we left. We were trying to figure out where Ben was going to go to kindergarten at the time. And we left voicemails for each other, but didn't get to talk.
Okay. Did he leave you a voicemail message that morning?
He did.
Okay. I asked you earlier about him being scheduled to leave town the day after he was killed. Do you know where he was planning to go?
He was going to New York to see his girlfriend.
The message that he left you that morning, do you remember what he told you in the message?
I mean, I think it was about our son's school.
Mhm.
Other than that, I don't really remember.
Okay. Included in that was it included in that message that he was heading to the gym and was going to be at the gym between 9:15 and 10:30 that morning?
I really don't remember, but that sounds like it could be what he would leave.
Yeah, how else would these guys have known?
Would it refresh your recollection to review a transcript of that voicemail?
Sure.
You know? Well, that's great, maybe.
Okay.
Hi, Chosen. Welcome.
Okay.
So did he say in that voicemail that he left you what his plans were in regards to the gym that day?
He did.
What exactly did he say about the gym?
About the gym, he said, I'm going to be at the gym probably between 9:15 and 10:30, but I'm happy to chat or meet with you. Maybe we can go for a walk at school or something like that. Let me know.
Okay. So that particular voicemail doesn't sound very emotionally abusive. Would you agree with that?
No, by this point in time, we were parenting really well and we were doing just fine.
Getting along great.
Yes, Your Honor. Move to strike.
I'll strike the comment, Your Honor.
Wait, what?
Did you talk to your brother on the day of your
What did she
ex-husband's murder?
say?
I did.
That's why
And
I
about what
can't
time of day
type.
did you speak to him?
It would have been right after the repair guys were there because that's when I called him to tell him, ask him whether I should get the TV repaired or buy a new TV. So
Okay.
it would have been morning.
How long did you talk to him?
I don't remember.
Does 18 minutes sound incorrect?
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Did you talk to him about other things other than just the TV?
I really don't remember what else I talked to him about, but probably maybe I would have asked him about his work or we would have caught up.
Did you happen to mention Dan Markell's plans to go to New York the next day?
I don't see why I would have.
Did you have WhatsApp on your phone at that time?
I don't know if in 2014 I had WhatsApp. Now we use it for all the parent chats at school, so it's everybody seems to have it, but I don't know if everybody had it back in 2014.
What is WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is kind of an app you would use for texting.
Do you know if your brother Charlie had it at that time?
I have no idea if he had it at that time.
Did you ever communicate with Charlie through WhatsApp?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know if I had it at that time or if I had it later. I probably would have.
Just not sure.
Yeah,
Did you have any contact of any kind with Catherine Magdanois on the day of Dan Markell's murder?
No.
Did you ever communicate with her through WhatsApp?
I never communicated with her at all.
All right, let's talk about, well, you communicated with her on the beach.
I saw her in person, but I'm saying I never texted with her, called her. I never communicated via a device other than in person.
What about when you were talking to your brother? Did you?
Hey, maybe can you respond to Chosen with a YouTube appropriate response? I'm struggling to find the words without potentially getting in trouble. Thank you.
Get on the phone and speak to you?
I don't think so.
Okay. I want to talk about where you went when you left your residence on the day of the murder. You tried to turn on to Trescott, and then you ended up where?
I went, I was supposed to go to a party that night, a Stock the Bar party. So I went to a liquor store to pick up what they had asked for as the present for their party. So I went to the liquor store, I picked up the alcohol, I stopped, I think I got gas, and then I went to lunch to meet my friends.
And the liquor store purchase appears to have occurred at 12:49 based on the receipt. Do you have any reason to dispute that?
No, that
timing?
sounds right.
Okay. And then from there to the restaurant?
Yes.
And where was the restaurant located?
Mosaic, I actually don't remember. I just remember I would go north on Thomasville Road.
All right.
So it was,
And is the restaurant where law enforcement came to speak with you and you ended up going with them to the police station, right?
that's correct.
Do you agree or disagree that there have been some financial benefits to you and your
Thank you.
boys as a result of Dan's death?
I disagree.
Maybe not.
When did you decide to change the names of your children from Markell to Adelson?
So after Danny's murder, there was a lot of news. It just hit the media and there were news stories everywhere. And Nancy Grace on CNN put pictures of my boys with their faces unblurred, just pictures of them.
Mhm.
And I was terrified. And so when they started school, I started school with my last name, thinking that would keep them safe, that they
Wasn't-
wouldn't be associated with the murder.
Wasn't the Adelson name in the press? Just
It
as
was
much
not in
as
the press.
Markell?
Not yet.
Oh, That's kind of surprising.
Do you agree that you legally changed the kids' names on July 6th of 2015?
That sounds right.
So it was actually a year after the homicide.
A year after.
That woman is Charlie's sister. Hey, Chosen, have you made sure to like the stream yet?
When was the last time you talked to your mom? Did you talk to her today, yesterday?
I talked to her yesterday.
In her emails, and we referenced one of them while you've been here on the stand, she talks about you giving performances and playing roles. Did you discuss anything about what you would do here today in court with your mother?
No.
Were you involved in any way in the plot to kill your ex-husband?
Absolutely not.
Did you know what was going to happen, but maybe not know the details?
I knew nothing.
Is that why you went to the crime scene on the day of the homicide?
I did not go to the crime scene on the day of the homicide.
Do you know who all was involved in the murder?
Well, I learned today, but at the time, no.
Okay. Have you ever privately confronted your brother about his role or possible role in the murder?
My attorney has advised me not to have conversations with anyone in my family about the case.
But you had a close relationship with your brother at the time of the murder, right?
I absolutely had a close relationship with my brother.
And how soon after the murder did your lawyer advise you not to talk to your family about it?
In 2016.
Okay, so what about the 2 years in between? Did you talk to him about it then?
I mean, I talked to him about the fact that a murder occurred, but I guess I don't understand the question.
But you never talked to him about the suspicions you raised in the law enforcement interview that your brother might have done it.
No, I did not.
You suspected your brother could have been a part of this, right?
I suspected lots of people could have been a part of it.
But he was one of the people, right?
While I was talking with law enforcement for 6 hours, terrified out of my mind, I offered them every possible idea I could come up with.
Right. And one of the possible ideas was that your brother could have murdered your child's father.
I didn't
right?
really believe that was possible.
Yeah, that would never happen in my family.
Was part of the plot for you to be able to have plausible deniability about this?
Absolutely not.
Is it better for both you and your brother if you don't know the details of this?
I like you, Chosen.
I don't even understand the question that you're asking me.
When did you first become aware that you might be a suspect in this case?
I mean, as the ex-wife, I assumed I was a suspect from the beginning.
What was your first thought when you were asked if anyone might have murdered Dan Markell for your benefit?
I thought, oh my God, maybe if I hadn't divorced him, he would still be alive. Maybe this is my fault because I complained to the wrong person. Maybe Danny gave a student a bad grade and they came after him. I just was trying to think of who possibly could have wanted to hurt him.
But you didn't say any of that before. The first thing you said was Charlie, right?
I don't think so.
Page 25 of your interview, line 5 through 15. Do you have any reason to dispute? Page 25, not 5 hours into it. You say Charlie might have done it, right?
Can I see, please?
You may.
The stuff that she did to Jeffrey Lacoste. That poor man. But he wasn't Jewish. I don't think that she would have, like,
What I say here is that he would never do it.
I don't know.
Right under the highlighted part, I say, no, he would never.
Need a copy?
Page 25, line
He's
5
just like, how is this my
through
life?
15. I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in that taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and then I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay or fix it, or whether I should get a new one. And it was always his joke that, like, he knew that Danny always treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. And you do say you don't think he would do it, but can we agree you brought up his name on page 25 of the interview?
I did.
When asked, would you ever ask someone to do something like this? You say not in a million years. When asked, okay, do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you? You say no. And when Isom starts to ask you, what good does it serve? You say, I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie. Isn't that how it went?
This is the transcript, but I think there's also inaccuracies in the
Sliced
transcription.
him up and served him on a platter.
All right. Do you want the culpable parties held accountable for murdering the father of your children?
Absolutely. I'm grateful they're already in jail.
But not if it's your family.
It's not my family.
I mean, somebody hired him, right?
Not necessarily.
Somebody paid him.
I learned something this morning.
Yeah, me too. You didn't want him held accountable if it was your family members. Didn't you tell law enforcement that?
That's not what I told law enforcement.
What did you tell law enforcement?
I told them that the person who did this should be held responsible and that I had nothing to do with it.
Page 122, lines 7 through 12. If somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The investigator says, regardless of who it is, and your answer is, I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother.
but I don't think it was my family. Is
It's
what I'm
different
saying.
now, isn't it?
No, it's not different. That's exactly
different
what
today,
I said
isn't
right
it?
here. No, that's
No
not
further
right.
questions.
Chosen, you're in for a treat. This trial is just one of ups and downs and crazy families. And granted, we're coming off of the Casey Anthony trial that we watched over Christmas, but I just, the mother here is neurotic. Do they have enough credible evidence of Charlie doing it? I think that, like I said, I think you're in for a treat if you're willing to stick it out with us. I do this every Tuesday through Friday, starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. She is a lawyer and she is putting on a total act right now, in my honest opinion. The one
You may
thing
examine when you're ready.
her throwing up at the dinner table, though, that's the one thing that just sticks out in my mind, is like, why'd she do that?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Adelson, we've met before, right?
Yes.
We've met 2 or 3 times in our life, right?
Look at this
That's correct.
member.
We initially met in
and
2016 after the arrest of the
appreciate
killers
you.
in this case.
That's correct.
During that meeting, we had no conversation whatsoever about the substance of this case, right?
That's correct.
We
Make
met
sure you
again
use
in
those
April
emojis.
of 2022 on the day that your brother was arrested, correct?
Correct.
You were at your parents' house and we were figuring out where he was, right?
That's right.
Again, nothing was discussed about the case other than his arrest.
Correct.
In fact, before right now, we have never discussed your testimony at all.
Correct.
Okay. With that in mind, let me ask you the most important question. You're aware that the state has named you as an unindicted co-conspirator in the murder of your ex-husband, right?
Correct.
They believe
There
that
you
you,
go, Chosen.
along with your brother, along with your mom, along with your dad, conspired with those 3 killers, including Katie Magbanua. They believe you all conspired with them to kill your ex-husband. You understand that, right?
I understand that that is what they believe.
You understand they put up a chart in their opening with pictures of all of you.
Yes, I saw the chart.
Ms. Adelson, did you have anything to do with the murder of your brother, of your ex-husband?
Absolutely not.
It's fair to say the state has it wrong.
Absolutely.
Were you in a conspiracy with any members of your family to kill Professor Markell?
No.
Okay, with that starting point, let's get into your background a little bit.
Hard. Thank you. Been a
I'm gonna
little
try
slow
some stuff that's already
recently,
been
but we're jumping back on the train.
Growing up, you were pretty close with your parents.
Yes.
Fair to say they were middle class.
Yes.
You went to a public high school.
I did.
You did pretty well in high school, right?
I was valedictorian.
But around a year or 2 before you went to college, your father was a victim of a Ponzi scheme, correct?
It was actually when I was in 8th grade.
And he lost much of his wealth.
He lost his whole life savings.
You still went to a prestigious college up in Boston, right?
I got a full scholarship.
And then when it came time to go to law school, did you pay for law school?
I got a full scholarship.
Who lost their
You
wealth?
got asked a lot of questions about divorce law in your direct examination. Are you a divorce lawyer?
I am not.
What type of law did you specialize in?
Immigration.
Call those filings and we'll get.
Who lost their wealth? I was typing a comment. This is what happens, but I gotta learn how to multitask. Oh my goodness, Kevin Jordan, thank you so much for the jewels. I greatly appreciate it. I love that people can do that. Her father did. I had no idea.
to him. Did you write those filings?
No.
So the words that Ms. Kappelman were reading, they were for you. You reviewed them, correct?
I did.
Did you draft them?
I didn't draft any pleadings.
That motion for contempt. She asked you if he could be put in jail. You
I
had no
think
idea,
Wendy
right?
gets
I
charged
didn't remember
this year,
whether that's what contempt meant, but
2026.
You were just seeking the court to enforce its previous order, right?
That's
Hot
correct.
take.
Now remember you said that during these filings, this is the same exhibit, that you thought you talked about some other things and Ms. Kappelman said, nah, it's not in there. Remember that?
I do.
Can I borrow that binder? draw your attention. This is State's Exhibit 56. I'm going to draw your attention to page 187. I want you to read this paragraph for the jury.
Okay. The wife has been very unhappy in the marriage and filed her petition for dissolution of marriage in August 2012. The husband continues to characterize this as an abandonment of the family. At no time has the wife abandoned the children. She is divorcing the husband due to her unhappiness with him and the marriage, and she only moved out of the home because she knew the husband would not. The husband's statement of abandonment are unfounded and not supported by fact or law. He is simply having difficulty accepting her decision. In fact, he is having so much difficulty that he has told several of her colleagues and friends that she must have mental health issues.
You can stop there.
Okay.
Do you remember telling Ms. Kappelman that you remember filing something like that?
Yes, I do.
You can set it aside. We're going to When did you meet Professor Markel?
We met in Washington, D.C. in the fall of 2004 when I went up to D.C. to interview for a job.
Where were you living at the time?
I was living in Miami.
When did the relationship get serious?
Well, because it was long distance, it kind of got serious pretty quickly because it's a commitment to date someone long distance. So we started dating, and then I think over Thanksgiving, he came and spent Thanksgiving with my family. And by then it felt pretty serious.
Do you recall if you introduced him to Charlie?
I would have at that point. I don't remember introducing him before that time, but he would have met my whole family then.
What did Charlie think of Professor Markel?
I honestly don't remember his reaction, but
Were they buddies?
no,
Buddy?
They really had nothing in common, right?
no, they had nothing in common.
Now, you got engaged pretty quickly. Is that fair to say?
We did, yep.
And I think you described how you ended up in Tallahassee, how you did your last year of law school in Tallahassee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then you had 2 children.
We did.
What a waste.
During the marriage, did Professor Markel get along with your parents?
Yep.
Now, skipping a little bit ahead, then we'll go back. Do you remember asking Ms. Kappelman asking you about your parents not liking Tallahassee and not having access to the kids in Tallahassee? Do you recall those questions?
I don't remember her asking whether my parents didn't like Tallahassee, but I remember her asking about access, like not having unfettered access to the kids.
And do you remember talking about how your parents were looking for real estate in Tallahassee?
Yeah, my parents were trying to buy a house here.
Do you recall that after you got divorced, they contacted a real estate agent named Tim Kelly to buy that house?
Yes.
During the course of your marriage, I think you said you were close to your brother, Charlie.
Yes.
How often did you speak to each other?
Maybe once a week or a couple times here and there.
Now, in all the years you lived in Tallahassee, is it fair to say that Charlie only came up 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, he came up for the birth of both boys, so definitely twice. And then I think he had an internship or a job in Alabama for a little while, so he came by then. But so maybe 3 times.
Now, you described that there came a time when you and Professor Markel started to have some marital issues.
That's right.
And some of these issues had to do with religion, correct?
Yes.
And some of them had to do with just the fact that you 2 were growing apart. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
But you got marriage counseling, right?
We did.
How long were you in marriage counseling for?
I think about 6 months, maybe.
Now, as close as you are with your mom, while in marriage counseling, did you tell her you were in marriage counseling?
I don't remember telling her I was in marriage counseling.
Oh, she would have given you an earful.
Until the end, did Charlie know that you were in marriage counseling?
I don't know if I talked to my family about being in counseling.
Do you recall a time when you and Charlie, you were down in South Florida and you told him that you were having marital problems?
I do.
And what was Charlie's reaction to that?
I mean, he was supportive of me. I remember him saying, life is short. So if you're unhappy, then, you can make a different choice.
Do you recall a dinner at the Melting Pot where you told Charlie that you had decided to file for divorce?
I do.
And when you told
that
Charlie that you were
place
going to
is
file for divorce, did he have anger and hatred towards Professor Markel?
No.
Was he sad because he knew that this was going to affect his nephews?
I don't think he was really sad. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people wondered why I got married to Danny in the first place. And my friends were very supportive when I decided to end the marriage.
Now, you actually filed for divorce in September of 2012. Is that right?
That sounds right.
And when you filed for divorce, let me say this. When you left the home, I think that was discussed in the direct, Professor Markel was out of town, right?
He was. I called him and let him know that I had filed.
You're a non-confrontational person, right?
It is not my best quality, yes.
But you had been in marriage counseling for quite some time before you left the home, right?
Yes.
Ooh, what may be said.
Before you
That's
left the home,
important.
did you have a place to live?
I did.
So there was some planning, correct?
Yes.
Charlie had nothing to do with those arrangements, right?
No.
And that's when you moved into the Aqua Ridge house?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm showing you what's marked as Defense Exhibit 1 for identification purposes only. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yeah, well, there we are.
Do you recognize the email addresses on this document?
I do.
Is that your email address in July of 2012?
It was my work email address, so that makes sense. That must have been my email.
Does this look like an email that you could have received from your mom?
It does. I don't remember this email, but it does look like an email I could have received.
Judge, I would move this into evidence as Defense Exhibit 1 at this time.
Objection, hearsay.
Please bring exhibit.
Oh man, of course. This happened right as I'm doing this. One moment, please. What's your go-to accent? Is it like Russian? Is it English? Is it hillbilly? Is it New York? Okay. I thought she looked like she was crying for a moment. I was like, get out of here. I don't believe that for a moment, Miss Adelson. Scottish.
This is an email
I
between
have
your mom and
an
you
awful Scottish accent.
in July of 2012, right?
Yes.
And just pointing to just under paragraph 2, I just need to know that I can legally take my children and move to another location. There was concern that you wanted to make sure that you weren't breaking the law, right?
Correct.
What can I legally remove from the house to the new location? There was concern that you wanted to do everything within the law, right?
Correct.
Now, we've heard a lot about this TV already, so let's just clear this up right now. Charlie bought you the TV, right?
Yes.
More precisely, Charlie had your parents buy the TV and he paid them back.
Yes.
And they bought the TV from Best Buy, right?
Yes.
Have you ever bought anything from Best Buy?
I'm sure I have.
When you buy from Best Buy, they always try you to get the Geek Squad warranty, right?
Yeah, they do.
And people like me always fall for that, right? But when you call and you need a repair on the TV, it's got to be registered to your name, right?
I think so.
I have no idea. She just came up. Whenever you're a member of my group, you get all of
You know
your
if the Geek Squad was
comments
registered
highlighted.
to your mom and dad?
I don't know offhand, but if they're the ones who bought the TV, then they probably bought the, Geek Squad policy that went with it too.
If I showed you the receipt, would that refresh your recollection?
I don't really have an independent recollection, so I don't think so.
Don't think so. She makes it sound like she's from Minnesota.
Now, Charlie made that joke many times, right?
He did.
He never told you he actually looked into hiring a hitman, right?
No.
Did you think he was serious?
No.
By the way, the state has you as a co-conspirator with Charlie Adelson, right?
I believe so.
But they also have you, according to them, blurting out during an interview that your alleged co-conspirator did the murder. Does that make any sense?
I don't understand the
Let me
question.
rephrase. They have you guys as co-conspirators. They think you did a murder together, right?
I think so. That's what they believe.
If you did a murder together, why would you have blurred out a statement like that?
I clearly would not.
Sorry.
Do you know if Charlie repeated that joke in March of 2014 when you went to Yardbirds with Jeff Lacoste?
He may have, if I was mentioning the TV was broken or something like that.
Do you know who else was at that dinner?
Katie.
Mika Booba. Ooh, no, not right.
During your divorce, You spoke to your mom daily, probably, right?
I would usually call my parents on my way to drop kids at school. We'd have a short conversation. So that sounds right.
It's fair to say that your parents were involved in some of the decisions that you were making in the divorce. You were asking their advice.
For some of the time.
Did you often speak with Charlie about what was happening in the divorce?
Not too much, no.
But fair to say Charlie was supportive of you, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was always supportive of me.
Is Charlie kind of self-centered?
I don't think so.
At the time of your divorce, though, he had a lot going on in his life.
I mean, his life was going great. He had a great business. He always had lots of girls. He had friends.
The divorce was settled in July of 2013.
Correct.
How did you feel after it was settled?
I felt better. I felt a sense of relief that we could just move on with our lives.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about this relocation issue. Isn't it true that your attorney told you that there was very little chance for you to win that motion?
I believe so, yes.
Hi, Chaos.
Where were you working in Tallahassee? Let's go backwards, actually. In 2007, when you were married, where were you working in Tallahassee?
At that time, I would have been working at the FSU Center for Human Rights.
And you were lobbying for anti-human trafficking legislation?
I was primarily representing victims of human trafficking, but I did a little bit of lobbying too.
But the funding for your job ran out and you lost your job, right?
Yeah.
At the time of the divorce, you had gotten a job at FSU. What was that job?
At the time of the divorce, I was adjunct teaching a few classes at the law school, and I had a number of different jobs at FSU, but by that point, I was probably running something called a medical legal partnership, where I would work with the law school, the medical school, and the social work school to.
I'm just going to say this because I feel like it needs to be said and it's going to eat me alive if I don't say it. As a lobbyist by trade, nope. I don't think she would be a good lobbyist at all.
Help the students work together to try to help solve legal problems that clients had.
Did you like that job?
I did, yeah.
So if you liked the job so much, why were you looking to relocate?
I mean, relocation was not a big issue for me. I probably never would have thought of it. A friend suggested it to me that it might be helpful. Maybe I would get more time with the kids if I could relocate. But I wasn't really focused on it. I didn't think it would happen, and I was pretty happy being at my job.
Now, you were a non-tenured clinical professor in that job, right?
That's right.
It meant that you could lose the job at any time. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
And you were had a lot of responsibilities, now being divorced, even more responsibilities with the kids.
Sure.
And you were offered a job at a prestigious law firm in Miami. Is that fair to say?
I was, yes.
And that job was going to have a pretty big salary increase.
Yes.
And it was going to give you an opportunity for more stability. Fair enough?
Yeah.
You were also going to have the benefit of family
Sure.
in South Florida who could help you with the kids, right?
Yeah.
Now, even with this relocation request, was it ever your intention for Professor Markell to be absent from your boy's life?
Never, no.
Okay. When you lost the relocation motion, I think it's fair to say that your mom and dad were pretty upset.
That would be
That's right.
devastating.
It's fair to say that your mom came up with some crazy ideas.
Totally bonkers, yes.
We saw the email about conversion of the kids, right?
Yes.
By the way, did you ever do any of that?
No.
So you never dressed the kids up, you never baptized them, you never took a picture of them?
No.
Okay. Did your mom keep bugging you to do any of that stuff?
No, I think it was just one crazy email.
By the way, in all of these emails, did your mom ever tell you to do something violent
No.
to Professor Markell?
No.
Was there ever any discussion of threats of violence in any way?
No, never.
Mr. Rashbaum, I'm going to get you to ask one more question, and from there, we're going to go to recess for the evening, but your examination of the witness will go tomorrow.
But you're doing a great job, Ted. Come back tomorrow.
Have you ever heard of the Prost blog?
Sure.
Remember those questions that Ms. Kappelman asked you about how people could know about Danny traveling on the weekend of his murder? Remember those questions?
I do, yes.
Would it surprise? What is the Prost blog?
It was a blog that Danny started with some friends to talk about the law and legal theories and to kind of have conversations in space with other law professors.
I'm showing you it's marked as Defense Exhibit 2. And this will be quick, Your Honor. I
I
promise.
was going to say, we went from 1 to 5 real quick.
It'll be quick.
Please show your exhibit to the witness.
Does this look like a posting from the Prost blog?
It does, yes.
Judge, I admit Defense Exhibit 2 into evidence at this point in time.
Any objection to the state?
I'd like to take a look at it first. Mark.
Okay, go.
Oh my gosh, he is just such an odd-looking fellow. Hello, Sean. Welcome. Please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, mate. So bad. So bad. I don't even know what accent that would be.
You'll have to approach before you have this ready.
I'll ask it one last question, and then we can, if you would, we can.
One means one.
One means one. Do you know if Professor Markel would frequently post his travel schedule on his prof's blog?
He would post it on his prof's blog and on his Facebook.
That's my one question.
All right, members of the jury, we are going to go into recess for this evening.
The examination of Ms. Adelson will continue in the morning. The instruction that you've received from the
Gotcha.
beginning of jury selection and throughout, I'm going to repeat it once again because it is important. Do not discuss this case with anyone else or each other. Do not look.
Ba-ba-ba. All right, let's get going, kiddos. Let's go crazy.
July 21, 2014.
Again, I don't remember specifically, but it sounds like it would have been
I love this judge.
made
too.
sense for the time.
Do you know an individual named Cindy Jean?
I do.
Do you remember emailing her and asking her if the kids were available to go swimming at the pool on July 19th to 20th?
I don't remember,
Who's
but
Pickle
it
Rick?
sounds like something I would have asked.
May I approach Your Honor with Defense Exhibit
Hello, Spencer.
20 for identification purposes only?
You may.
Welcome, mate.
Does this refresh your memory about trying to set up that play date for July 20th or July 19th with Ms. Jean?
Yes.
You can put that aside. Do you recall that your mom planned to visit
Got it.
Tallahassee in November of 2014?
I don't remember that.
I'm showing, may I approach Your Honor with Defense Exhibit 21 for identification purposes only?
You may.
Please take a look at this.
I only watched documentary on the old country. And the law and the crime.
Yes.
Huh.
Does this refresh your memory that your parents planned on being in Tallahassee on November 17th? Does that
Yes.
refresh your memory?
Mhm.
You can put that aside. Do you recall asking your parents to come to Tallahassee on August 1, 2014 for a birthday party with Ben, for Ben?
I don't remember doing that, but that sounds, it's close in time to his birthday.
May I approach Your Honor with Defense Exhibit
He thinks I am
22?
You may.
He does not know the plans for which I have.
Does this refresh your recollection that you were going to have a birthday party for Ben in Tallahassee
Why does
in
this
early
matter?
August of 2014?
That's right.
Oh.
You can put that aside. And that your parents were going to come up for that?
Mhm.
Do you recall making flight reservations to travel to Newark and then back to Tallahassee? So you're going to leave from Tallahassee and go to Newark, come back to Tallahassee for a wedding in October 2014.
I do.
And you made those reservations in July of 2014. Do you recall that?
I don't recall when I made the reservation, but I remember the wedding.
May I approach your
Hey, have you guys liked the stream yet? No? Can you please do that right now? That would help me tremendously. Thank you.
Honor with Defense Exhibit 23?
You may.
Does this refresh your recollection that the reservation was made sometime around July 14th, 2014?
Yes.
That you were booking tickets for a wedding in New Jersey on October 24th, 2014?
Yes.
And the cost of those tickets were over $400, right?
That's right.
Put that aside.
I went to a wedding in New
Those tickets were to
Jersey.
go back to Miami, were they?
No, it was Tallahassee to Newark, Newark to Tallahassee.
Why did you make those tickets to go back to Tallahassee?
That is where I lived.
We're going to move on to another subject.
We had the best time.
Ms. Kappelman talked a little bit yesterday about the litigation that occurred after the relocation litigation with Professor Markel. You recall that?
I do.
And there were these pieces of litigation back and forth about money and about filing false affidavits. You remember those?
Yes.
It was what was called the motion against your mom that Professor Markel filed. You recall that, right?
I do.
Okay. With regards to the motion that Professor Markel filed, claiming that you and your attorney filed a false affidavit, did you get the sense that you were going to prevail on that litigation?
Yes.
Was the judge getting frustrated with Professor Markel on that litigation?
Very.
Did the judge admonish Professor Markel regarding that litigation?
The judge said he needed to stop.
Were you concerned about getting disbarred?
No.
Was he gonna get disbarred? Wow.
I want to talk a little bit about Jeff Lacoste. You first met Mr. Lacoste in the fall of 2013.
Yes,
It was casual at first.
it was.
You were dating other people as well.
I was.
Cash.
It got more serious around March of 2014.
That's right.
Fair to say he was in love with you?
I don't really remember. I don't think I could say, but it was more serious.
You weren't so sure about him. Is that fair to say?
I think my feelings developed over time,
And then they undeveloped.
and then they undeveloped.
You were very different people from very different backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
You didn't spend much time with your parents, right?
I think maybe he met them once.
He wanted to meet them more than once, right? You didn't like that he didn't get to see them more times.
I think he wanted to be more integrated into my life.
Jeff Lacoste met Charlie Adelson one time in March of 2014, right?
That's right.
He accompanied you on a trip with law students, right?
I used to run an alternative spring break, and he came with me.
And you
What
decided
does that
to
mean?
visit, come down to South Florida for a day or two, right?
That's right.
And you had dinner at a place called Yardbird, right?
That's right.
Are you aware that that happened on March 11th, 2014?
No, I don't remember the date, just that it
Mates, I need a bevy. I'm going to put this on and I will be right back.
was during the spring break.
Fair enough. You remember sitting outside on the patio?
I do.
And it was you and Mr. Lacoste and Charlie and a woman named Catherine Magbanoa. Do you recall that?
That's right.
Who was Charlie's girlfriend at the time.
Yes.
Are you aware that Sigfredo Garcia was watching you at that dinner?
No.
Are you aware that he was contemplating running your brother over with his car at that dinner?
No.
After dinner, you and Jeff Lacoste stayed at Charlie's house, right?
We did.
Miss Magbanoa wasn't there, right? It
I don't remember her being there.
was just the three of you.
I think so.
And you left the next morning.
We did.
Now, you and Mr. Lacoste started having issues around May of 2014. Is that fair to say?
That sounds about right.
You started to become nervous around him?
I don't really remember if I was nervous around him, but I started thinking it wasn't the right relationship.
He started accusing you of being unfaithful, right?
He did.
He accused you of having an affair with someone that you had previously dated?
He did.
Excuse me. You told him that you didn't. You denied it.
That's right.
And he didn't believe you.
He did not.
And before this individual that you used to date, you had coffee with at a place called All Saints in Tallahassee, right?
I did.
And Mr. Lacoste saw you having coffee with this individual, right?
He did.
And that caused a confrontation. Is that fair to say?
He flew into a rage.
Subsequently, he went through your phone and planner, right?
He did.
And this is around May, June of 2014.
That sounds right.
And you and Mr. Lacoste went to Gainesville for a weekend for his work at some point around this time frame.
Yes,
And that Saturday night, June 28th, he basically exploded at you.
he did.
He yelled at you for hours.
He did.
He accused you of having affairs with multiple people.
He did.
You were very upset, to say the least.
I was devastated. Yeah.
Now, you were scheduled to leave for South Florida, I believe it was on June 30th or June 29th to celebrate your dad's 70th birthday, right?
That sounds right.
And Mr. Lacoste wasn't invited.
No.
You went down to South Florida on June 30th, and you and the boys stayed with your parents, right?
We did.
You had the boys with you the whole time.
Yes.
Dan Markel didn't have the boys at that point in time. The boys were with you.
Yes.
And Charlie knew that, right?
Yes, he was with us.
Your mom planned a big party for the birthday.
She did.
Now, I think when Ms. Kappelman asked you if the birthday fell on a Saturday, you weren't sure.
I remembered it being on his actual birthday, which I thought was a Saturday, but I don't remember the calendar from 2014.
May I approach Your Honor with Defendant's Exhibit 25? Ms. Adelson, does this refresh your recollection that July 5th, 2014 was on a Saturday?
Yes.
And that the party was at 7:30 p.m. or
Yes.
thereabouts?
Mhm.
That side. Now, when you got back to Tallahassee, you saw Mr. Lacoste on July 13th.
That sounds right.
And when you saw him, it was not a good meeting. Is that fair to say? It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You saw him the next day at a yoga studio,
I went to yoga and he wanted to come.
and it was awkward
It was.
and kind of tense.
It was.
And he asked to see you again later that week,
He did.
and you didn't want to.
I did not.
And when you got home that night, you sent him an email asking him not to contact you for at least 7 days, that you wanted to think things over. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You never saw him again, right?
No.
Are you now aware that there was a first attempt on your ex-husband's life on June 4th and June 5th? June 4th.
Alternative spring break sounds like the worst time ever. Thanks.
5th of 2014.
Yes.
When you lived with Professor Markel on Trescott, was your address publicly listed?
I believe so.
It just seems like something like, oh, well, you know, I want to look really good on my resume. And I have really crappy grades, so I'm just going to do alternative spring break.
A schedule for the Markel children?
Very well.
How would you do that?
Do you need a copy, Your Honor?
I have it right here. I'm just bringing up instruction 2.3.
Hey, have you guys liked the stream? I see we have some more viewers. If you could do that, that would be great. Thank you.
Members of the jury, when the parties agree that certain facts are true, that is called a stipulation of fact, you must accept stipulated facts as having been proven. However, the significance of these facts, as with all facts, is for you to decide. In this case, the stipulated facts that you must accept are true are: the Markel children were enrolled at Creative Preschool located in Tallahassee.
Whoops.
During the week of July 14th, 2024, their drop-off pickup schedule was as follows. Monday, July 14th, 2024, dropped off at 8:55 a.m. by Dan Markel, picked up at 5 p.m. by Dan Markel. Tuesday, July 15th, 2014, dropped off at 8:25 a.m. by Dan Markel, picked up at 4:50 p.m. by Dan Markel. Wednesday, July 16th, 2014, dropped off at 9 a.m. by Dan Markel, picked up at 4:30 p.m. by Wendy Adelson. Thursday, July 17th, 2014, dropped off at 8:30 a.m. by Wendy Adelson, picked up at 4:45 p.m. by Dan Markel. Friday, July 18th, 2014, dropped off at 8:50 a.m. by Dan Markel.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I want to first focus your attention on the July 17, 2014 schedule. On July 17, 2014, as Your Honor just recited, you recall dropping the kids off at school at 8:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And Professor Markel picked them up at 4:45 p.m. on that day, thereabouts.
Which I just heard, but I wouldn't have known what time.
You didn't pick them up.
No, it wasn't my day.
So it would be impossible. The person would be wrong if they said that they saw you and the kids by Professor Markel's house in the afternoon or morning of July 17, 2014, correct?
It would be some other woman and some other kids.
You spoke to your mom probably close to daily, right?
Yeah.
During this time period. She would know when you had the kids and didn't have the kids, right?
Probably.
I want to go back to something briefly that we talked about yesterday before we stopped. You knew that Professor Markel posted his travel plans on Facebook and on his Profs blog, right?
Yes,
He would talk about places and conferences that he was speaking at, right?
you would.
Are you aware that on the weekend of the 20th, he was supposed to speak at a conference in New Jersey, and he posted it on Profs blog as well as on Facebook?
Yes.
Donna had some crazy theatrical stories. I don't know if y'all have heard them, of her
Let's talk
experience
a
in
little
the
bit
pen.
about Best Buy.
Quite the actress, more so than Wendy. She was on Wheel of Fortune too.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You
We're
might.
in a
Showing you
club
this mark for
together.
identification purposes only as Defense Exhibit 29 and 30.
She was on the real one. I was on the first one. So far.
Looking at Defense Exhibit 29, does that refresh your recollection that the warranty was under your father's name? for that
Yes.
TV?
Mhm.
A warranty with the Geek Squad?
Yes.
Now, before you look at Exhibit 20, do you recall that your mother scheduled the appointment for the TV to be fixed with this Geek Squad?
I remember that I scheduled it, but it looks like she scheduled it and gave me the number to call in case I needed to reschedule it.
And in fact, she emailed you on July 11th and told you if you can't keep the appointment on the 18th, call this number to reschedule it, right?
Yes.
You can put that aside.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and yet it's hilarious. The part in her hair is telling to me. I love you. That's hilarious.
I want to talk a little bit more about July 18th. Do you recall leaving your house that day on Aqua Ridge Ray around 12:30 in the afternoon?
I do.
And you were going to meet a friend for lunch at a place called Mosaic.
Yes.
But you had to pick up a bottle of, I don't know if it's bourbon or whiskey. I don't even know if they're the same thing, but Bullet whiskey.
It was bourbon.
Okay. It was for your friend's wedding shower that night.
They were having a stock the bar party, so they asked for specific kinds of alcohol to stock the bar.
And
I did that once with my ex. I got creme de mint.
showing you what's marked as Defense Exhibit 32. Is this the invitation that you received?
Yes, that's it.
You got a member here.
Judge, I would move Defense Exhibit 32 into evidence at this point in time.
No objection.
Here's Your Honor.
Exception.
State of mind.
You can provide me with the
I'm about to give away some memberships, so make sure that you're subbed, you like this stream, and make sure that you have your thing turned on for gifted membership by clicking
objection
here.
is sustained. She may testify as to her.
Do you recall on the left-hand corner of the invitation, it says, help the bride and groom stock the bar for their wedding and bring a bottle of Bullet bourbon? Do you recall that?
Yes.
Trinzaga,
You put
you're
that
just
aside.
gonna have to hang out with us.
Now, you decided to go to ABC Liquors on Bedden Road to look for the bourbon, right?
I did.
Okay. You're not a big drinker, is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
You went to that store because you were familiar with it,
I'd seen it close to my house, so
Ginormous.
close to your old house.
close to my old house.
There could have been liquor stores that were closer to your current house.
Sure.
Now, when you drove to ABC Liquor, you tried to go through Trescott. Is
I
that fair to say?
It was blocked.
There are other ways to go to ABC Liquor, right? You could have gone down other roads.
I don't have the best sense of direction, so when I find a route, I just kind of keep using that route. I don't look for something else.
I don't like
You got to
talk
Mosaic
about
at around 1 p.m.
That sounds right.
and your lunch was interrupted by investigator Isom, who told you that something had happened.
That's right.
You went with him voluntarily to speak
did.
with him.
it. I mean, what is she gonna be
You
like?
let police search your car.
Yes.
You were interviewed with the investigator from approximately 2:45 p.m. until 7:50 p.m.
Yes.
He told you that your ex-husband had been shot and was unlikely to survive, right?
Yes.
You were in shock.
Yes.
You were pretty open with police, telling them a lot of things, right?
They kept telling me they needed my help, and so I kept trying to help.
Now, you remember on direct, Ms. Kappelman asked you about this interview.
Yes.
And she asked you about all the people you mentioned during the interview, including Charlie.
Yes.
And you said I was just wheeling off names, right?
Yes.
In fact, isn't the first person in the interview that you mentioned was yourself?
Yes.
You said that you would understand if you were viewed as the prime suspect, right?
Yes.
Before you mentioned anyone else, you mentioned yourself.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
told them about the motion to relocate.
I did.
You told them about the fight you had with Professor Markell that very morning about some swimming for the boys.
Yes.
You were spitting out a lot of ideas.
I was.
And you agreed to let the police search your phone.
Yes.
You agreed to let the police search your car.
Yes.
That's where they found that picture that I wasn't able to admit of the invitation to the Bullet Bourbon, right?
Yeah.
You agreed to be fingerprinted.
Yes.
You agreed to be checked for gunshot residue.
Yes.
You gave them your computer to be searched.
I did.
Towards the end of your interview, you asked the police officer if you could call your parents, right?
I did.
And the police allowed you to do that.
Yes.
And you
Of
called your mother's
course.
cell phone sometime around 7:04 p.m.
Yes.
Hold on.
And you spoke to your mom. I don't know if you remember, but you remember your dad being in the shower because they were going out to dinner.
I don't remember.
Your mom didn't answer actually the first call, and you called back a couple minutes later and she answered. Do you recall that?
I don't.
And when you called your mom, she was surprised.
Yes.
And you asked her to call Charlie and tell him what happened, right?
Yes.
Poor Charlie. Poor Charlie.
You didn't speak with Charlie that day, right?
I don't think so.
On July 19th, the next day, you spoke to Charlie at 10:50 in the morning. You won't know the exact time, but you recall speaking with him in the morning.
I honestly don't.
Do you recall letting him know that Professor Markell had passed away in the early morning?
I don't remember the conversation.
When your parents came directly to Tallahassee, correct?
They did.
They stopped in Orlando and they got there on the morning of the 19th, right?
Yes.
And when they got there, they were scared and frantic, right?
Yes.
Your dad didn't sleep.
I guess that
He
makes
couldn't get police protection, so he planted his chair in the front of your window to make sure that no one was going to come to your house and shoot it up, right?
Correct.
Like, what was he gonna do about it, though? Was he holding Will? Come on, Harvey. Let's think this one out, man.
Now, you all attended a memorial service on the 20th, right?
Yes.
And you arranged for the Markells to see the boys after the memorial service, right?
They all came over my house.
And you left Tallahassee, correct?
Not on the 20th.
On
No.
the 21st.
Yes.
And when you left Tallahassee on the 21st, did you bring all your belongings?
I brought some swimsuits for the boys and some pajamas, and I thought we'd be back in a day or two.
And when you left, you were not yourself.
I was a mess.
You got to South Florida and you realized that you could not take care of the boys alone at this point in time.
I hadn't slept in days, and I was terrified.
To get a little more specific, you wouldn't leave the house.
No.
And you would hardly eat.
I wasn't eating, no.
And ultimately, you decided not to come back to Tallahassee.
I mean, I made that decision much later, but
And you had a friend who you grew up with, I think last name Keener, go back and get more stuff at your house, right?
he did.
Oh, Charlie. Yeah. I'm sure he felt
Have one more
the
moment, Charlie.
heat. And they wouldn't give him bail. That's what's wild. Because he was like a gazillionaire and liked to staple money for people. Just so weird. So weird. The mother literally washed money. Just like they were a bunch of odd birds. the whole like Hitler youth
Now, it's been said in this courtroom
uniforms.
that you have tried to erase Professor Markel's memory from your boy's life. Is that true?
It's not true.
For the first 2 years after the murder, did you limit Professor Markel's family from seeing the boys?
Absolutely not.
In fact, they had complete access to the boys, right?
100%.
They made dinners with the boys.
Other brother.
I cooked dinner for them, yes, every time we visited.
There were sleepovers and playdates.
That's right.
There was no animosity at all, right?
No.
And then in October of 2016, things changed, right?
Yes.
A letter was released where there was a suggestion that Professor Markel's mom was talking to the state about arranging custody for the boys in case you got arrested.
Yes.
And you saw that as a betrayal.
Well, the custody was foster care, so yes.
You saw that as her thinking that you killed her son.
Yes.
And as a result of that, rightly or wrongly, you decided to limit their access.
I was afraid they were going to put my children in foster care.
They weren't gonna. You wouldn't
Do your
watch
children know
them?
anything about their father?
They know a lot about their dad.
Do they have a picture of him in their bedroom?
Each boy has a picture of them and their dad over their bed that we say good morning to and good night to every day.
Did you
Like Jesus?
benefit from Professor Markel's death?
No.
Well, you got to live in South Florida.
It's not a benefit.
Yeah, South Florida is quite nice. As someone who's here right now from Ohio.
How are your boys doing?
They're doing very well. Thank you.
How has your job prospects been since this case hit the news?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
How are you doing?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Has this affected your life negatively or positively?
Negatively,
Does Charlie love his nephews?
very much.
Can I have one moment, Your Honor?
The other brother looks like he was just brought in from an
Thank you, Mr.
orphanage.
Adelson. I have no further questions.
Redirect examination.
Charlie was
The long list of plans that you went over with Mr. Rashbaum that you were going to have in Tallahassee post murder date. None of those plans happened, right?
No,
Because you moved to South Florida, right?
because I felt unsafe to stay here, yes.
And did you feel safe in South Florida?
No.
Did you buy a house in Tallahassee after the murder?
No, I did not.
Did you rent a house in Tallahassee after the murder?
No, I didn't live in Tallahassee after the murder.
Did the boys go to school that fall here in Tallahassee?
No, all our plans were broken.
And what was the purpose of those questions? Of course you didn't. You moved to South Florida. You didn't have plans in Tallahassee if they got executed. Why were you asked about all these things?
I don't know why I was asked questions by the defense counsel.
The book event that you were asked about, did that event happen?
I didn't speak at the event, but the event still happened.
Have you had several events related to that book that have happened?
I have.
And what events were those?
Do you mean just in Tallahassee or do you mean in other places?
Everywhere.
I've spoken at various schools about human trafficking and about my book. I think there was one event that still happened in Tallahassee about a year later.
And is that the only book you've written, or have you written more than one book?
I've only written one book.
What was the book about?
The book was about human trafficking and about the vulnerabilities that lead to trafficking, the problems when it occurs, and basically how to recover from it after.
Where was the book set?
It was set in a fictional town,
What was the name of the fictional town?
Hiawassee Springs.
So Hiawassee. Is it located in the panhandle of Florida?
No, I used to see the name when I was driving from Tallahassee to Orlando, so it's somewhere in between.
And was the place modeled after Tallahassee?
It was definitely somewhere in Florida, but not supposed to be about Tallahassee, no.
Who was the central character in that book?
So there's three central characters. One was one of my clients, kind of a composite character from Eastern Europe. One was kind of a composite character of many clients I represented from Latin America. And one was a public interest lawyer.
And was the public interest lawyer Lily?
Yes.
And is that the character that's sort of based after yourself?
No, really more based after a friend of mine.
And was Hiawassee, Florida, quote, just a small stop on the way back to what we had previously known as civilization? Is that a quote from your book?
That sounds like a quote from my book, yeah.
And who's the husband of Lily, the public interest lawyer?
You want his name in the book?
Yes.
I think it was Josh Stone.
All right. And what was Josh's employment?
Josh was an English professor.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what was your answer?
Josh was an English professor.
Professor, where did he teach?
It's been a while. I wrote the book over 10 years ago. I don't remember what I named the university in the
North
story.
Florida State University,
That sounds right.
NFSU.
NFSU sounds right, yeah.
All right. And in the book, does Lily lament, quote, we moved to this godforsaken place for Josh's career?
Yes, that sounds like a line Lily would say.
All right. When you looked at page 187 of the divorce document on cross, and I'll hand that back to you.
What you saying there, Charlie?
This is actually my copy.
What's going on, Charlie? Tell us it all. Come on, baby.
Just turn back to 187.
What did your mother do to you?
Do you see the quote that you read previously from that page?
I don't.
Okay. It had to do with, let's see if I can find it, that you were very unhappy in the marriage. I think it's the third paragraph there.
I see that line.
Okay, the wife has been very unhappy in the marriage and files her petition for dissolution of marriage in August 2012. The husband continues to characterize this as abandonment, and then goes on to say
Yes, they are.
that he had been disparaging you to some of the folks at the law school. Do you remember reading that?
I do.
Was that intended to be the place in this binder where you allege emotional
Sorry, guys.
abuse by your husband?
I mean, I think it's emotionally abusive to suggest somebody has mental health issues.
Okay. What is the Prof's blog? You were asked about that on
That was
Profs.
weird.
Yeah, it was a blog that Danny started with some of his colleagues to kind of promote community in the law professor world.
And who reads the Profs?
Probably
Prof's blog.
other law professors and people interested in becoming law professors.
Who is on the Crim Prof listserv?
I don't know.
Were you on the listserv for that Prof's blog?
I may have been on the listserv at some point.
Do you remember seeing the post that you were shown on Profs?
Unsubscribe.
And the post says something about Danny and I are planning to attend a conference that will begin Sunday, July 20th. Is there any other information on what you were shown about Dan's travel plans post-murder other than that?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question?
The post says, Danny and I guess it's another professor writing this thing. Danny and I are planning to attend a conference that will begin Sunday, July 20th. Is that the type of information that he would typically have on something like the Prof's blog or Facebook?
That sounds right.
Okay, but as far as the date he's leaving, the flight he's on, that kind of stuff, would that typically be on the Prof's blog?
He wouldn't put what flight number he was on, but he would almost always communicate when he was going on a trip.
Okay, so going to a conference that starts July 20th might be an example.
Flying to New York tomorrow would be an example,
Okay,
but
he didn't
not a
put,
flight number.
but he didn't put flying to New York tomorrow on this occasion.
No.
I see we have some new viewers. Please make sure to hit the thumbs up like this. And if you aren't already subscribed, please make sure to do that as it is free. Thanks.
You were referenced several times, not on direct examination by the state, but by your brother's attorney on cross as a co-conspirator. Are you charged in this case?
No.
This isn't your trial, is it?
No.
Is your brother charged with conspiring with you to do a murder?
No.
Is he charged with conspiring with you to plan a murder?
No.
Is he charged with soliciting you to do a murder?
No.
Who is he charged with doing those things with?
I don't think anyone.
Have you had an opportunity to review his indictment in this case?
I have not.
I'm looking for Donna in the crowd.
Yourself? Who is your brother alleged to have done these crimes with?
Catherine D. Magbanoa.
I see Danny's dad
Were
right
you
above
on
my
the
head.
wire in this case, Ms. Adelson?
No.
So when the bump happened, are you familiar with the event I'm referencing as the bump?
I am now.
When law enforcement approached your mother on the street and handed her a piece of paper?
Yes.
Okay, when that occurred, who did your mother call?
I don't know.
Not you, right?
Not me.
Okay. And once your brother
Hello,
found out about the
Annie.
bump, did he call you about it?
No.
Who did he call?
I don't know.
Well, you listened to the calls to authenticate the voices, didn't you?
Just to hear the voices, not to hear the content of the calls.
Okay. And the voices were your brother's voice, right?
But I listened to the calls just to hear who was on them, so I don't know what content they're referencing.
I heard your answer. My question to you now is your brother's voice was on the calls.
He was on some of the calls I listened to.
Your mother's voice was on the calls.
She was on some of the calls I listened to.
Did you have any secret meetings with your brother post bump that happened in South Florida?
No.
You were asked about Jeffrey Lacasse and the way that your relationship ended. What is OkCupid?
OkCupid is a dating website.
Were you on that dating website?
I was.
Were you on that dating website at the time that you were dating Mr. Lacasse?
No, I wasn't.
And were you speaking? So I guess if you weren't on it, you weren't speaking to multiple men from the website during the time you were dating Mr. Lacasse. And I'll remind you that you provided your phone in this case and it was celebrated, downloaded.
Shoot. My mic probably still picked that up. Gonna lose viewers for calling her that. Hi, Kathy. Oh, there's maybe. We're rewatching this because Charlie may just get a new trial, which is absolutely terrifying. Oy vey. All right. I think I should give away some memberships. What say you? What say you guys? Just making sure.
Argument that is denied as to improper impeachment is sustained. Jury is to disregard.
The last comment from the prosecutor. Go ahead.
All right.
Didn't you
There we
just
go.
say that you weren't on OkCupid at the time that you were dating Jeffrey Lacoste?
I don't know when we say I officially stopped dating Jeff Lacasse, but there's a chance that, I mean, I don't remember in 2014 whether I had gotten the app and started talking to people before we officially broke up.
Okay, so my point is there's a chance that he was right. You were being unfaithful, or at least talking to other people. He had a reason to be jealous.
I think he had some serious jealousy issues that may or may not have been founded.
Yeah, I think we got from your testimony that you believe he had serious jealousy issues. My question to you is, did he have a reason to be?
No.
So he was wrong.
He was wrong in June when he accused me of being with multiple people that I wasn't with. Yes.
Okay. What was wrong with Dan's mother trying to make arrangements for the kids in the event of your arrest? Wasn't that a kind thing to do?
I don't think it's kind to put my children in foster care.
Wasn't the foster care intended only to cover the time frame that it would take for her to get on a plane and get here?
She never said that.
You thought she was just going to leave them in foster care?
I don't know what to think. They have a mother. They don't need to be in foster care.
But they wouldn't have a mother in the event of your arrest, Ms. Adelson. Wasn't that the intention of the email?
I don't know what the intent of the email was.
Before we finish this up, welcome to any of the new members that might have just jumped in here. You have the ability to use special emojis now. You get special discounts on the merch. We will discuss that later in the stream. You will have access to members only streams. And there's, your comments get on screen while other people's may or may not. It depends how funny they are. But members always get priority, and I highly encourage joining. Cool. All right, thanks.
I was not going to be arrested for a crime I didn't commit.
She didn't know that, though, did she?
I don't know what she knows or doesn't know. I can't speak to that.
Do Dan's parents know whether you committed this crime or not?
I don't know how to answer that question.
How would they? Particularly back at the time that she sent that email. It was fresh at that time, right?
I'm sorry, what was fresh?
All the events that were occurring, the arrests.
That was 2 years after Danny's murder. I don't know what she knew or didn't know. I know that my children don't belong in foster care.
Was it a specific foster care that she was requesting be called in the event that the children had no place to go and were going to be going into the custody of the state?
She did suggest a specific foster care agency.
A Jewish-run foster care agency.
A Jewish foster care.
How many times have the kids visited Dan's parents since this murder?
Many. It'd be hard to count.
Countless times?
Countless times.
How many times have they seen him in the last year?
We had a visit with Danny's dad and the boy's cousin this summer. We've had a lot of Skype visits. They do live in Canada, so it makes it a little bit harder to have in-person visitation. But every time they've asked for it, we've arranged it.
Every time they've asked for a visit, you've arranged it?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times have they seen him in the last 5 years?
Again.
Countless?
As in the last 5 years, that overlaps with the time when they tried to put them in foster care. So since we've reestablished relations, we've seen them about twice a year whenever they come down to Florida.
So in the last 5 years, they've seen him how many times? 2 or 3 times a year?
About that.
Has this been a major issue between you and Dan Markel's parents, this issue of them having access to the kids?
The issue of them trying to put them in foster care is a major
No,
issue,
ma'am, that's not my question.
I'm sorry.
Hasn't the issue of them trying to get access to your kids been a major issue, at least for them?
Since they tried to put the children in foster care, yes. Before that, it was not a problem.
Are you familiar with their work across the street at the legislature trying to get bills passed to give grandparents rights to see kids?
I'm familiar with their grandparents' legislation, but it's actually unconstitutional.
That is so untrue. That is so untrue.
Are you mad? Are you angry that according to your brother's theory, he and your mom have known who killed your children's father since 2014 and you weren't told who it was?
I'm more angry that somebody killed my children's father.
So you're not mad about that they knew this whole time? That's what they're saying.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
That's the theory of the defense in this case, is that he's known the whole time. Your brother's known what happened to Dan. Does that make you angry?
I'm angry about so many things. It's hard to
Is that one of them?
separate them.
We'll try.
I'm confused. It's hard to process.
And apparently, according to his lawyer, these killers had threatened to kill your brother's family members as well. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
And that would be you, right?
It would.
Were you told that a specific threat had been made by the same people that had killed your ex-husband to kill your brother's family members?
I was not told.
Would that have been information you would have liked to know back in 2014?
Yes.
Would you have made the same decision to move down to South Florida, closer to the killers?
No, I would not.
And even after the killers were arrested in 2016, you weren't told that that's what was going on the whole time.
I found out yesterday.
No further questions.
Members of the jury are being instructed to disregard the comment of the witness as to the constitutionality of any portion of the Florida statute.
Thank you.
You may step down.
Oh, well chosen. I love that you
Well,
find it
being called
interesting.
in.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to plug my nose.
Look at both of you. Will she be recalled at any point?
That's possible, Judge. I'd ask that she remain under the rule, but she's free to go about her business.
Have a good day, ma'am. Please call your next witness.
Oh, is that the mom? Is that Donna?
Go ahead.
Wait, oh. I think that was Donna. That was like right there. What are we doing?
Break. We'll take a 10-minute recess until 10:15.
Okay, so let's go to let's go to Jeffrey Lacoste. What do you wait? I kind of want to hear it.
State, please call your next witness.
Officer Brandon.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
You may take your seat.
Please introduce yourself and spell your name.
Officer Brandon, number 510, BRANNON, with Tallahassee Police Department.
How long have you been with TPD?
Approaching 25 years, and I was with FSU PD for a couple years prior to that.
Did you go to the scene in this case on July 18th,
Oh,
2014?
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What was your function there on Trescott Drive?
I ended up writing the primary report,
All right. What is the primary report?
just the initial report of the basics of what had occurred.
Okay. And as part of your duties out there at the scene, did you maintain the crime scene, integrity of the crime scene?
Yes.
How did you do that?
We set up a perimeter, and once we established the perimeter around the crime scene,
We're going for
Please call your next
Jeffrey.
witness. Have a good day.
Jeffrey Lacoste.
Yeah, it was just like a procedural witness. So what I try to do in trials is just show what people need to know. And that was just meh.
Please raise your right hand, sir.
27 head.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the
let me-
truth? Yes. You may take your seat.
So this is
Please
her
introduce yourself and spell your name.
ex-boyfriend.
My name is Jeffrey Lacasse. Sorry. JEFFREYLACASSE.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm an associate professor at Florida State University.
How long have you been with FSU?
I came back in 2013. I was also there from 2000 to 2008.
Have you always lived in Tallahassee?
No, I'm from California originally. I went to Phoenix for 5 years from 2008 to 2013. Really loved Tallahassee. So when I got a tenure track job here, I was excited to return in fall of 2013.
Did you have a relationship at some point with Wendy Adelson?
I did.
What was that relationship?
We met in the fall of 2013. Apologize for my voice. I'm still a little
You
water.
can have water.
You may have water.
We started dating in the fall of 2013, September 2013. We dated casually in the fall and more seriously in the spring and summer of 2014.
When did the relationship end?
Well, that's a little tricky, but basically July of 2014.
All right, we'll walk through that a little more
Yeah.
in detail. During the time that you were dating Ms. Adelson,
The one that is breathing on my.
Me?
Very close.
maybe we need to move it. Is it okay if I touch the microphone?
Why is he
That's right, this is here.
I'm not sure, is he, but I'm just backing up in here. I know, it's hard to get right.
I didn't speak up.
Yes, sir.
All right, so during the time that you were together, did you become aware of Wendy Adelson's recent divorce from Dan Markell?
I did. On our first several dates, that was the primary topic of conversation.
And were you aware that this was an unusually nasty divorce?
Well-
Yes.
During the time that you were dating her, did you become aware that even subsequent to the divorce, there was ongoing litigation pending?
Yes.
Did you know Dan Markel?
I met Professor Markel. I did not know him. I probably spent 10, 15 minutes in his presence across the course of that relationship.
And were you specifically familiar with the litigation concerning Wendy Adelson relocating with her children to South Florida?
Yes, that was a topic of conversation for sure.
If you know, did Wendy want that relocation to take place?
Yes, on our second date, the topic of relocation and being stuck in Tallahassee came up, and the date was ended abruptly when she went to the bathroom, returned with tears in her eyes, and just left the date because she was so upset. That was about two and a half months after it was denied.
All right.
And it continued to be a topic, but
that issue seemed to be specifically what was upsetting her on that day.
definitely was. She left the group date suddenly because it came up.
All right. And did she have family in South Florida?
Yes.
And what family was that?
Well, her brother, Charlie Adelson, Harvey Adelson, her father, and Donna Adelson, her mother, were the ones primarily that I heard about.
Were you also familiar with the litigation seeking to limit the exposure of Wendy Adelson's young sons to her mom, Donna Adelson?
Yes.
Keep in mind, it's the same state.
And did you observe Wendy to be taking that filing seriously? Did she seem stressed or worried about it?
Every filing she took seriously, and she was stressed. I reported to TPD that every time a motion was filed, it affected our relationship because she's very upset.
During the time that you were in a relationship with Wendy, did you have an occasion to meet her family members in South Florida?
I did. Well, I met her parents mostly up here. So I met Donna and Harvey Adelson probably 8 to 12 times up here. I met the defendant down in South Florida one time.
All right. So you only met Charlie Adelson one time.
That's correct.
When was that?
That was the evening of March 11th, 2014.
And had you already met the parents several times at that point?
Yes, probably 6, 8 times at that point, maybe more.
So they came here quite frequently?
Yes.
What about
They
Catherine
wasn't
McDaniel? Did you meet her?
Jewish.
She was present at the dinner that I attended on March 11th, where it was myself, the defendant, Wendy Adelson, and her went to dinner that evening, March 11th.
You're saying the defendant. Do you see the person in the courtroom
Yes.
that you had dinner with? Who's that?
Yes.
It is Charles Adelson, known to me as Charlie.
Could you point him out and describe what he's wearing?
Charles.
Yeah, he's sitting in the center of the defense table, wearing a light blue tie and a navy blue sports
What
coat.
are you doing, Charles?
And so Catherine McDaniel, how was she related to this family or affiliated with the family?
I was introduced to her as Charlie's new girlfriend, essentially.
And was it your understanding that this was the first time that Wendy was meeting Catherine McDaniel as well?
That was my understanding. She was excited about Catherine Magbanua, and that was my impression, yes.
All right. So anything unusual happened at the dinner?
Well, at the dinner, Ms. Magbanua mentioned that she had I guess it was her ex-common law husband, who had a criminal history that sounded very serious, and I did raise my eyebrows at that.
Did Charlie Adelson seem disturbed or upset by Catherine McDaniel mentioning that?
I don't recall him seeming disturbed, no.
All right. What about after dinner? Where'd you go next?
We went to Mr. Adelson's home, and we sat in his hot tub and had a few drinks and talked for a little while.
Who's the we that sat in the hot tub?
Yeah, myself, Wendy Adelson, Charles Adelson was in the hot tub for a while, and his then roommate, Dr. Joel Obed.
All right. So Dr. Obed was living with Charlie Adelson at that time?
That was my understanding. He was his roommate, yeah.
All right. And where was Catherine McDaniel at that time?
She did not accompany us back to the house.
In the hot tub, did the defendant make some statements that were of interest in this case?
Yes.
What were those?
You bet.
Objection, motion to eliminate. Approach.
Does he look guilty? Who? The victim. Do you mean the defendant? That guy? Yeah. There is no doubt in my mind that Charlie is the man with the plan in this situation. Well, it's difficult. Okay. Thanks for letting me know, maybe. It's difficult to say whether it was
Continue.
him or the mom.
Adelson in the hot tub mentioned anything about having connections to criminal element?
Yes, he did. He mentioned having
String.
contacts on both sides of the tracks, meaning dentists, lawyers, professional class people, but he also had people he knew that were a criminal element, yes.
And did you get more specific about anything about these people that are the criminal element?
He mentioned specifically, I repeated it to DPD, about Cuban neighborhoods where you might find that criminal element.
Okay, so he had connections to those type of people.
That's what he said.
And
Yes.
what was the context of this? Was he just seemed scared about it, worried about it, or something else?
Seemed to be bragging.
I want to ask you about a meeting with Wendy at a coffee shop that occurred on June 4th, 2014. You recall that?
I do.
What happened at the coffee shop?
We went to the Red Eye Coffee Shop to have coffee just to meet midday, and Miss Adelson canceled a trip that we had planned for July 11th to 17th to go see my parents, which was a big deal in the relationship, and she abruptly canceled it.
Did she offer an explanation as to why she needed to cancel the trip?
Not one that made sense. She said that she feared that we would not get back in time, and she had she emphasized, had to be back on the 18th to pick the kids up out of school, which would have been July 18th, 5 p.m. is my understanding. And I couldn't fathom why in the summer going through Atlanta, you wouldn't be able to get back in time. It didn't make any sense to me.
So she was worried you could be delayed and she wouldn't be able to pick the kids up.
Right. And we had people who could babysit. It didn't make any sense at all, but that was what she said. That day was very important.
All right. And so that occurred on June 4th.
It did.
No worries. Well,
All right. Did you see her later that evening?
I did. I went to the house to hang out with her and her children.
And is that her residence on Aqua Ridge?
Yes, ma'am.
And how was she that night? This is June 4th, right?
It is.
Okay.
She was a nervous wreck to the point where she was sick to her stomach. Asked me to get to her house as soon as possible. She was in that much distress. And she didn't have food poisoning or flu or anything obvious. She was just a nervous wreck. So I went to her house, immediately went to the store to get her Pepto-Bismol and a couple things from the convenience store. I have a credit card receipt, is why I recall that so specifically.
And did you have any idea why she's acting? I assume this is unusual for her.
It was fairly unusual. The degree of severity was definitely unusual. But that whole week, June 4th to 9th, she was very nervous. So.
And she didn't tell you it was because...
I hope you told that Xfinity man, sir, I got somewhere important to be where my presence is necessary. And that's with Criminally Confident & Co.
Killers were in Tallahassee to kill Dan Markell, did she?
No, I was stunned later to find out that there was hitmen in town at the time.
Okay. So let's go forward a little bit to this TV situation. Do you know anything about Wendy's TV being broken?
I do.
And when was the TV broken, if you know?
Between June 11th and 18th, I think it's closer to the 11th, but 100% in that week.
And how do you know it was in that week?
Because we rented a movie, How to Train a Dragon 2, to give the kids a special movie night. And I have text messages where I'm discussing having seen the movie by the 18th with friends.
So you were able to refresh your memory?
Yeah, I was able to refresh
those.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you get the movie or?
Well, it was back in the day, it was Redbox. So I rented a DVD from a Redbox. It was 2014.
All right. And go over there with the movie. And what happens when you arrive?
I walk in the door and Ms. Adelson asked me to look at her television because there's something wrong with the television.
And what was wrong with the television?
Well, I turned it on and I was immediately confused because it really shouldn't have been a question. As soon as you turn the TV on, it's been struck by an object and is damaged and basically unusable.
Can you explain what the damage looked like?
Yeah, it looked like somebody stood in front of it, took their fist and hit it like that was my first impression.
So kind of like a shatter mark with spiders.
Yeah, there's like an impact crater and then there's, after that, and it's all pixelated and distorted, which makes it very difficult. Or really no one would watch this TV unless you had to. And I had second thoughts about that. I looked around the room, maybe the kids broke it. So I looked all around the room and it didn't seem plausible that the children broke it. They're very small. This object had to be kind of heavy. I'd thrown a ball around with them. I just couldn't see how the kids could have done it.
But you didn't see how it got busted.
I didn't see it. I didn't know for sure. And I didn't know we'd be discussing this in a murder trial. So I didn't investigate further or think about it very much, to be honest with you. I just thought, okay.
Were there other TVs in the house?
There was a TV in the back bedroom, similar make and model that we had watched television with the kids before on that TV before. So yes.
Is that where you watched the movie that night?
No, I went to go hook up the DVD player in the back room. Miss Adelson insisted that it would not work and actually stopped me from even trying. So thought that was very odd, but I didn't want to argue. And it's her house, her TV, her kids. So I said, okay.
So did you watch the movie on the broken TV?
Yeah, we gave the kids movie night where we watched a movie on a broken television that was distorted enough that you could follow what was happening, but the kids are whining and crying the whole time. And I wasn't whining or crying exactly, but I was tempted to because it was pretty frustrating. And I just didn't understand, what was going on. And of course, I had related that this TV is broken, it's unwatchable, it's not covered by warranty, you're gonna have to get a new TV. And I offered to go do that for her anytime she wanted. She's a busy single mom. I'll run by Best Buy, get you a new TV. It was not like an 80-inch TV or something that was really that luxurious. It was a TV like you'd see in a dorm room. So we could have replaced it right away.
All right. Did you end up getting a new TV?
No, she turned me down several times on that offer. And again, it's her house. I tried to respect her boundaries. And I said, oh, okay. But it was inconvenient because after dinner, it's nice to be able to put the kids in front of that TV while you clean up the dishes and stuff. And it sat there being an inconvenience for a while.
All right. I want to ask you about when is Ms. Adelson's birthday?
April 22nd.
Okay.
Earth Day.
I've got this out of order. Let's skip over that for now and go to the big fight in June. Ms. Adelson mentioned that there was a big fight toward the end of June. Do you recall that?
Yeah, that's the weekend of June 27th, 28th.
Where were you when that fight occurred?
We were in Gainesville. Ms. Adelson accompanied me for a work trip, and we had that scheduled for a while. And she accompanied me on a work trip, and we ended up having a pretty big argument Saturday night in the hotel.
And did that have to do with you accusing her of seeing other men?
That was one of the issues. There'd been a lot of tension bubbling. That was the major issue. But just to give that some context, I suspected very strongly she was seeing other men. Of course, your office had confirmed recently to me that there was multiple online active dating accounts the whole time we were supposed to be exclusive. But just to give context of that, that was combined with Wendy promising me the world in June, talking about me moving in. Shouldn't get a Jeep. You should get a car. The kids' car seats will fit in. The kids should start calling you daddy was the most outrageous one. And so she's like throwing herself at me over the top in a way that felt totally disingenuous and fake. And at the same time, I think she's seen other guys. So it just kind of boiled over. I tried to have like a serious, honest relationship conversation with her, and I didn't get it well.
So you were kind of, at least up until all of this started happening, you were kind of full steam ahead, and it seems like she was a little stop and go, hot and cold. Is that?
It was a roller coaster, is what I would say. And I felt since April that I was perhaps being strung along. I had that intuition. I couldn't fathom a reason why you would string a guy along like that. It didn't make any sense at the time.
All right, so we're in June, like 28th range?
Yeah.
Okay, when did you come back from Gainesville?
Such a charm.
The morning of the 29th, after this fight, this argument, we drive back. We drive back to Tallahassee. I had another ride back, and I offered to take that other ride if the fight was that bad, because we could have broken up after this. That was she wanted to ride back.
You rode together.
Yeah, we rode together.
All right, so you rode back together, and then was she leaving that day?
I believe it was I thought she picked up the kids the next day from Professor Markel's house, and that's when she met Amy Adler, and that was a big deal to her.
Amy Adler was Dan's girlfriend at the time?
Yes.
Okay, so it's at some point after the big fight and the return from Gainesville, does she leave to go to South Florida?
Yeah, I know. A day or two later, she definitely leaves to return to South Florida. She's in South Florida by July 1.
All right, and was that the trip that she was there for her dad's birthday?
That's correct.
Did you attend the dad's birthday?
No, I was never invited to the dad's birthday.
All right, and were you aware what the big gift was for dad's birthday?
No.
All right, so when did you see Wendy next after she leaves to go to South Florida? I guess after you returned from Gainesville.
So during that 2-week period, we're exchanging emails, texts, long phone calls, video chats with the kids. Things are up and down, but it seemed like it's probably going to be okay. That's the impression I was given by Miss Adelson. Or I was being strung along 2 more weeks. But I see her again on the 13th when she comes back in town and is excited to have a date with me. So we had a date.
All right, so now we're at July 13th, 2014.
That's correct.
So within a week of the murder.
That's right.
All right, tell us about your interactions with her that day.
Yeah, we went to dinner and a movie, and we returned to our house on Aqua Ridge.
All right, and did she tell you anything asked to tell you anything in confidence that evening?
Yeah, in a very serious tone of voice. The topic of conversation as we're walking up to the house is about relocation, being stuck in Tallahassee, and Danny, as the conversation always was about Danny Markel. She said in a very serious tone of voice, "Can I tell you something in confidence?"
Yay! I'm glad you're back. And that happened.
I think I do judge that as your approach.
I was just Googling Amy Adler. Apparently, Dan had a girlfriend when he had passed, which I was not aware of. Wow. He does not look good. Yeah, Jeffrey's kind of like a little, hyperactive, socially awkward.
The bailiff is going to escort you out. Mr. Lacoste, you can step down from the witness stand for now.
Okay.
Please step back outside.
Down on your chair.
Everyone can be seated. Bringing up both the motion in limine and the prior order that have been issued on this matter.
Oh. So right now they're going to not fight, but debate over whether something should be brought in for the jury to hear or not. You're good, Heidi. It's really not that difficult to pick up on where you left off. Wendy's crazy. Her family's nuts. And this is her ex-boyfriend that witnessed her behaving / saying some very uncomfortable things prior to Dan Markel's death. What's not factual?
The ruling that was made as to the defense motion in limine concerning the state eliciting this as a part of its case in chief. However, Mr. Rauschbaum, at this point, Ms. Adelson has specifically denied making this statement. Why is this an improper ground for the state to explore this on impeachment.
It's still hearsay, Your Honor. It's double hearsay. It's not done.
All sorts of matters that otherwise would be inadmissible can become impeachment.
Judge, if Dr. Adelson, Charlie Adelson, made that statement to Mr. Lacoste and he denied it, you could impeach him. You're impeaching another witness. That's not allowed. That's number one. Number two, I brought up
The impeachment of one witness's testimony through another is not allowed.
but they're impeaching her to go to his statement. They're stuck with her answer. They could have kept on cross-examining her of why they thought her answer was wrong. They can't now backdoor it through hearsay in another witness. That was the whole point of the motion. Similarly, Judge, we brought this issue up first thing this morning, sidebar, because if they were going to be allowed to do it, I was going to ask Miss Adelson other questions on this issue. They said they weren't going to do it. So I didn't ask her those questions. And I didn't ask her those questions because I didn't want to open the door to it. And I can't call Miss Adelson back as a witness because she has a Fifth Amendment right and I can't give her immunity. I brought this up for this very reason. She denied the statement yesterday. That's why I brought it up today. They can't backdoor a double hearsay statement based on a denial by that witness. Can't do it.
Ms. Koppelman.
It's not hearsay, it's offered for impeachment. Ms. Adelson was specifically drawn to the time and place of this statement and asked if she made it. She denied it. This witness heard her make the statement. Now it doesn't impeach this one.
Turn on your mic.
This is not an insignificant fact or an immaterial one. Mr. Rauschbaum, if you wish to find some authority, I will give you 5 minutes to look if you have anything to argue as to this matter. Ms. Adelson has denied making the statement. She can be impeached through other witnesses regarding this matter.
Judge,
I will give you an opportunity to find some authority. If there's something more specific, you can point me to other than what you're arguing right now.
Judge, I brought this up this morning so that I could front it with Ms. Adelson. And we were told, you were told, that they weren't going down this path. If I'd been told something different, I would have done something different that I can no longer do. It's precisely why I went sidebar first thing in the morning.
What is your responses to that portion of the argument, Ms. Koppelman?
I don't know that that's a legal argument. I was asked if I was intending to offer double hearsay. I said I would never be offering hearsay without an exception.
I assume he's making this on fairness grounds, which goes to this would have changed his strategy of how he examined the witness.
I don't know what to do about that, Judge. I can't help Mr. Rashbaum have better strategy.
This wasn't one of the reasons
with the witness
for a new
did
trial.
that denial. So I'm not sure why the issue wasn't raised at that point.
Judge, I was really specific this morning that the double hearsay related to my motion to eliminate related to Jeffrey Lacoste. You knew what I was talking
Hold on. My ears work perfectly well. You don't have to raise your voice. Make your argument, please.
Everyone sidebar knew exactly what I was talking about. And we were told, Ms. Kappelman told you as an officer of the court that she was not going down that road. And so when Ms. Adelson was on the stand, I stayed away from it, not to open the door to it. She knew exactly what statement we were talking about. If you tell me you didn't know what statement I was talking about, I'll sit down. I was very specific. I was very specific that it was the double hearsay statement related to Jeffrey Lacoste that we filed our motion to eliminate on. I was very specific that it applied to this and also the Juvia dinner. Those were the words specifically out of my mouth back there, because when she asked the questions of Ms. Adelson, which were completely appropriate, I thought she might be going down this path. And so the first thing in the morning, we went sidebar so I could stop the charade, so that if the court were going to allow it to come in, I would handle it. She stayed silent. And I've been jumping up and down to try to prevent any possible mistrial twice, and still no mention of it. It's completely unfair, completely improper, and it denies him his constitutional right of due process.
Again, that's why I raised the issue. This goes to the fairness aspect of it. We'll take a brief 5-minute recess. If you have any authority you wish to present, I will entertain it further.
Kind of looks like a leprechaun jumping up like that, though, huh? You guys know that I'm overly, I wouldn't say that I'm pro-defense, but I very strongly believe that we have to know without a doubt that someone is guilty. And so that threshold for me is very, very high. And I also believe in the importance of doing things the right way, so we won't have issues like Charlie Adelson wanting a new trial and feeling like he deserves it after what he did. Oh, okay.
Unless either party has additional argument, I am prepared to rule at this point.
I did have one thing I wanted to raise that I'm not sure was here before. Ms. Adelson is still under the state subpoena, so I think she could be brought back for whatever additional questions need to be asked.
And to that point, Mr. Kappelman, the ability to extend immunity.
Mr. Rauschbaum does not. He calls her as a part of her, as a part of the defendant's case. What's your response to that?
I don't know. I mean, we're still in the state's case, so.
Well, the defense can't call a witness within the state.
I want what's his face from Casey Anthony, who's just gonna fight with the co-counsel all the time.
It's case.
I know.
Jose.
I just wanted to point out that
Jose.
That might be a solution. I don't know. It hasn't been proffered what questions would be asked that weren't asked. I don't know what that is, but maybe there's something that could be worked out if that was your Honor's ruling, was that would be required.
Mr. Rauschbaum, anything else?
Judge, I'll just rest on 9609 Florida rule and its progeny and Crawford and its progeny. And what I said before.
Very well. The court's ruling is as follows. The defense's motion in limine went to the state's ability as a part of its case in chief to present testimony from Mr. Lacoste that would be hearsay within hearsay. The motion in limine was granted on those grounds. However, the motion in limine and also the court's ruling did not discuss or limit in any way the state's ability to present this information as impeachment. Ms. Adelson, at this point, she has testified, she has denied the statement taking place whatsoever. However, as it goes to fundamental fairness grounds, which are also a part of the ruling that has to be made, the defense did earlier at sidebar ask if this was going to come up in some way. As it related to substantive evidence, I believe the state responded it was not. The state did not make any representations concerning impeachment. I will find that this did affect the defense's ability, or their strategy, at least in examining the witness, as the witness also can invoke her Fifth Amendment right, and through a separate pleading has stated through counsel that she will invoke any Fifth Amendment right unless she is being granted immunity for that testimony. The ability of the defense to address this matter is compounded by the constitutional right of the witness and their inability to call her. On fundamental fairness grounds, I'm not going to permit the impeachment on this topic. You may proffer the testimony from there. If the state is intending to recall the witness at that point, the issue of impeachment may be revisited. Does everyone understand?
No, because I was typing.
Clarification for the record.
Go ahead.
Sorry, on the record, we were at sidebar. What I was asked, my understanding of what I was asked is, was I intending to introduce any hearsay within hearsay for Mr. Lacoste? And my answer was that I would not introduce any hearsay within hearsay without exceptions. I think it was clear what I was intending to do was set up an impeachment through Ms. Adelson by drawing her attention to the specific date and time of the statement and asking her specifically if she made the statement, which she denied. I find it hard to believe that that doesn't alert the defense in fairness that that's what I'm intending to do. And that's what I did in the last trial successfully, which the defense in this case was in attendance at. So I think it's unfair to the state, but I understand Your Honor's ruling and we'll be ready to proceed.
Please bring in the witness so we can go through the proffer. Our words are stock and trade. If you're uncertain, Ms. Kappelman, as to what Mr. Rauschbaum was raising, we probably should have clarified it at that point. Please bring in the witness.
I guess so. I was the one in the Casey Anthony trial saying that the
Also, so we don't have to go through this again, Mr. Rauschbaum,
prove
as it
anything.
pertains to the other rulings in the defense's motion in limine that the court has previously addressed. Although they may not be, certain rulings pertain to the state's ability to present as substantive evidence. You understand this does not affect their ability to present it as impeachment,
LS
as it pertains
20
to all of the items that have been ruled on
thing.
previously. June and Chimda, meaning everything that we've been previously addressing through these motions.
Well, they still have to follow the extrinsic evidence rule, collateral evidence rule.
My point being, something that cannot come in substantively can still be impeached with. You understand this?
Can, yes.
I'm not saying it's necessarily going to happen,
Right.
but so we're not doing this song and dance about any other matters. All right. If we need to have sidebars and you're attempting to clarify something, if you're asking specifically as to impeachment, you need to be specific as well.
Fair enough, Your Honor.
Ms. Dugan, please bring in Mr. Lacoste.
Isn't it wild that the Airbnb has this laptop or this computer for me to use? Like, isn't that crazy? It's just so
You may be
generous.
seated, Mr. Lacoste.
Ms. Kappelman, you may finish your sequence of questions on the topic you were starting.
Mr. Lacoste, when we broke, we were discussing
It
a
is
statement
awesome.
made to you by Wendy Adelson on July 13th, 2014 at her residence here in Tallahassee. Do you recall which statement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and what was that statement?
After asking to speak to me confidentially, she told me that last summer that Charles Adelson had looked into all possible options to take care of the Danny Markell problem, including hiring a hitman, and that it would cost about $15,000. I revised them out. I said potentially that could have been $50,000. I'm unsure of the amount. The rest of the statement, very confident it's true.
So you weren't sure whether she said 15 or 50.
Right.
But she didn't say 15 or 50. She said one of the other.
She said one number that I thought was 15 when I talked to TPD. I later thought that could have been 50.
Okay, I'm with you. And this statement was made in what context? What was her demeanor?
Well, she asked to speak to me confidentially. She was dead serious about it. It was a chilling statement. I had a reaction to it. My stomach flipped, a little scary, a little weird. So it was a very serious statement she's making.
So clearly not a joke.
No, it was not a joke. There are other jokes in that domain. This was completely distinct and discrete from any joke. This was not funny.
And the statement was made within 5 days of Mr. Markell's murder by a hitman?
That's correct. And
was this said in any way in the context of the relocation issue?
Well, what preceded her saying that was a discussion of under what circumstances could she or would she leave Tallahassee? And she stated that the only way to leave Tallahassee was if something happened to Danny. That's what led into the statement I just repeated.
All right. Thank you. That's proper, Your Honor.
Any cross-examination concerning the subject of the property? Any cross-examination as to the subject of the property?
He's definitely dated. You're not wrong, Chosen.
The statement was chilling and serious, right?
Yes.
Did you go to the police?
I did not.
You were so scared about the statement that you didn't alert the police the next day, that night.
I did not.
Why not?
Because it was a past tense statement, and I thought Charlie was a scary guy, but it was about something supposedly he did last summer. No, I did not know there was a present case, a present incident thread. I did not know him and visited Tallahassee. I didn't have the context.
So the statement comes out, and you say, all right, I'm not going to call the police. Hey, Wendy, you want to go out tomorrow?
That's not quite how it went.
No, you didn't try to go on a date with her the next day?
No, we did go on a date the next day, and then she cut off all contact without barely talking to me on that date. So I didn't have a lot of time to process it, but it was a shocking enough thing that took a day or two to process. Also, I had repeated that statement to a friend of mine before the murder, and I didn't get a reaction from her. Like, this is shocking. I sought feedback from a friend who verified that I made that statement before the murder, and she didn't say, oh, geez, you should call the police. So it wasn't just me. There was another person that I consulted with because it freaked me out, and we decided I decided after talking to her, it was past tense, so probably not that dangerous, and we were really wrong. Maybe I should have called the police.
So Charlie Adelson lets you know that he has friends in the criminal element, Cuban criminal element, right?
Yes.
And you know that there's a heated dispute between this family. You testified to it today, a heated dispute.
Yes.
About relocation, about divorce.
Well, it's no longer about relocation, but yes, there's an ongoing litigation for sure.
Right. And then Wendy Adelson tells you that this man, who is part of the criminal element, really looked into hiring a hitman.
She did say that.
And you thought, I'm not going to go to the police on that. That's your testimony, right?
That's the decision I made. It didn't really cross my mind because of the past tense nature of it. And I consulted with a friend, bounced it off of her before the murder. And neither one of us thought, oh, geez, let's call the police. So it's possible that probably is so dangerous that I should have called the police. Yeah, but I did not.
And so at this point in time, your relationship with Wendy Adelson was really bad, right?
It was hard to tell.
It's hard to tell that it was really bad?
It was a roller coaster ride constantly because you referred to the next day, the 14th. On the 14th, I got a warm inviting call from Wendy Adelson, eager to spend time with me. Maybe trying to distract me. I don't know. But,
well, we're going to get to the distracting part.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is all about.
But the relationship was not in a great spot. I'll concede that to you.
So
yes.
Your testimony is that when this woman is about to break up with you, when she is avoiding you, when you have just been caught going through her phone and her
how's she avoiding me?
Well, Mr. LaCoste, you're not here to ask questions.
Yes, sir.
Your testimony is that when you are on the outs with her, which the record will show you were during this time period, that she confides in you the most serious, the most important thing in her life. That's your testimony, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
She has a history of boarding out things that aren't in her own
You
self-interest.
are not wrong,
I would ask that to be
Chosen.
stricken from the record.
You are
unresponsive.
spot on.
That's part of the proffer. And if you reach the end of your cross-examination on the proffer section, we give you the move on.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Mr. LaCoste, or actually Ms. Kappelman,
The court's ruling remains the same. You're not to inquire further as to the subject matter. We will revisit later if it comes to it.
Yes, sir.
Please bring back in the witnesses, or the jurors.
So what I just typed is that with StreamYard, in me using my laptop, I can't, there's no one.
Celebration dinner. I'm sure that's the next one.
Yeah, that is another issue. So is it the same ruling in reference to the celebration dinner?
well, one moment, because I don't know what the celebration dinner is all about.
It's in the same motion eliminating, Judge.
Where did that come? Number two, I believe this just concerns statements. It didn't say anything about celebration.
All rise during the court.
One
It
minute.
does. It's really annoying. I have
Where
to
is the celebration
Google.
dinner covered in your motion?
It's in the
Thumbs up
same
emoji
motion
every
eliminating
time I wanna
regarding
use it.
hearsay statements. There were several of them. The first one was the statement that we just discussed, and the second one is that Charlie Adelson said that he went to dinner with that she told him that Charlie Adelson said it was a celebration dinner. It's in the same motion in limine.
However, this statement is being directly attributed to your client that was heard by the witness.
No.
Mr. Lacoste, please step down again.
How's the trial going, Mitchell?
It's the same exact issue. It's Wendy Adelson telling him what Charlie Adelson said.
Cattleman response.
Yes, sir. I asked Ms. Adelson about the dinner. She acknowledged there was a dinner. She did vomit at the dinner table, but denied calling it a celebration dinner or hearing Charlie Adelson call it a celebration dinner. I anticipate this witness would indicate that it was referred to as a celebration dinner.
I just couldn't do the Georgia trial anymore. It was becoming all about lawyering and nothing about the facts. I think he's going to get a new trial no matter what verdict
It's
is.
the same issue, and you ruled on this issue. It's the same motion in limine.
I'm looking at the line now. All right, Ms. Kappelman, I believe we find ourselves in the same position unless you have an argument which differentiates the television from the celebration dinner.
I think I understand what you mean, Judge. I don't have any additional argument other than this is offered for impeachment. It's not hearsay, not covered by the motion. The appropriate grounds were laid and it's admissible as impeachment.
Do you wish to proffer the celebration dinner by Mr. Lacoste as well?
No, sir. I think my preference at this point, assuming your ruling will be the same on the celebration dinner, is to have Mr. Lacoste step off the stand, proceed with another witness, and revisit this issue after the lunch break.
Very well. Please bring the jurors back in. You may end your examination in front of them, and then Mr. Rauschbaum will have his opportunity. Well, actually, Mr. Rauschbaum, how long do you believe your cross-examination of the witness will take
I'm a little
in front of the jurors?
I'm a little confused. Are you?
The ruling is the impeachment as the celebration dinner is going to be excluded on the same grounds for now. If we need to revisit later, we will. But as to your cross-examination that will be taking place in front of the jurors on the subject matter that's already been covered, how long do you think that's going to take?
Oh, she's going to stop asking questions of this witness.
I believe she just indicated she would.
Okay. For the issues that we've dealt with just now,
Prior to any proffers and sending the jurors
yeah,
out.
I'm not really sure, Your Honor. Probably maybe 30 minutes.
All right, let's bring them back in. You can start your cross. We'll take the lunch break and then pick up from there.
That's what I thought.
Bring back in the witness.
All right, you're entering courtroom.
Everyone can be seated. Bailiff, if you can please instruct Mr. Lacoste to come back in.
Is Edie still in here? Are there any other women
Examination for this witness.
No further questions on this time.
viewers?
You may cross-examine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Professor Lacoste, good morning.
Good morning.
You met Charlie Adelson one time, right?
That's correct.
It was a trip that you and Wendy took down to South Florida for a day after a spring break with the kids that she taught.
Yeah, we went to Immokalee and then we went over to Miami, or to Fort Lauderdale and Miami just for the 11th. That's right.
And you had dinner, you said
Hello.
you had dinner on March 11th, 2014 at a place called Yardbird.
That's correct.
You recall Charlie was in his scrubs?
Don't recall that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
And Catherine McBanawa was at that dinner, right?
She was.
And I think you said that she was bringing up stuff about her ex, right?
Not a lot, just a little bit, but she did bring that up and I recalled it.
Is it fair to say that she was pushing for information at that dinner
From who?
from Miss Adelson?
I don't recall that.
Well, was she trying to get Miss Adelson to talk about her ex-husband?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall there being a lot of discussion at the dinner about Professor Markell?
Don't recall a lot. It always came up for a minute. It came up in the context of Wendy Adelson's book. Most of it was Charlie talking.
You recall Katie asking questions about how the divorce was going, how he was treating her, where he was. You don't recall any of that happening at the dinner?
I do not recall any of that.
The only thing you recall is her saying something about her ex-husband.
That's what stuck out. We've had previous legal proceedings where I also could not, I can't. It's a dinner 9 years ago. I don't remember a lot of detail of it. It wasn't long either. It was just an hour.
Isn't it likely that she was talking about her ex-husband and her problems because there was talk about exes?
I mean, that's pure speculation on my part. I don't recall. I do recall some other things we spoke about, but I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about them or not. They involved your client. They were, so I'm in my head trying to figure out how much space was there for other stuff. As I previously testified, most of it was Charlie telling us stories, kind of.
But Katie was clearly wanting to bring up the topic, as you said, about her family situation, correct?
Yeah, but I'm talking about 2 or 3 sentences here. I only recalled that in retrospect because there was a murder, and I thought, oh, geez.
And it was important enough for Ms. Koppelman to ask you about that, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right? So you remember her talking about her family situation, right?
Yeah, and I also remember Charlie talking about a party he had recently attended. There's a few other random things.
Fair enough. I didn't ask, with all due respect, I didn't ask you that. Let's just stick with the family situation.
Okay.
So Catherine McBanawa was talking about her family situation, correct?
For 2 or 3 sentences, she mentioned that Sigfredo Garcia, not by name, and the tensions with him. Yes.
You say that Charlie talked in the hot tub or the pool about having connections to the criminal element. That's what your testimony was, right?
Yes, starting with my initial statement to TPD. Yes, sir.
And you're talking about your statement to TPD after the murder, right?
3 days after the murder.
And after you thought Wendy Adelson was trying to frame you for the murder, right?
I didn't think that in that interview. Okay. It took me some time to process.
You're aware that you were called in as a suspect for the murder, right?
Yes.
Okay. And after that point in time is when you gave that statement to TPD regarding what Mr. Adelson said. Just yes or no?
After I was called into the police station?
Yes.
Yeah, that's when I gave my statement at the police station.
Right. What I'm making clear is it's not like you had dinner and were in a hot tub with Charlie Adelson and you went back to Tallahassee and gave the statement then, right?
No, I would have no reason to do that.
I understand that, Professor Lacoste. I'm just trying to make it clear for the jury when you gave TPD the statement.
Yeah.
And the answer is you gave him the statement after the murder and after you were called in as a suspect on that murder.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, do you recall texting Charlie Adelson after you met with him?
I texted Mr. Adelson 1 time, yes.
Okay. And do you recall saying to him, "Hey, Charlie, it's Jeff," as in Wendy and Jeff. "Hey, man, thanks for your hospitality the other night. Sorry about the clusterfuck with the cab. It was great to finally meet you. I can tell how proud you are of your sister. I am too. She's really 1 in a million. Take care, dude, and look forward to seeing you again sometime soon." Do you recall texting him that?
I do recall texting him that.
Okay.
Cringe.
Do you like hanging out with the criminal element?
It was my new girlfriend's brother who she was very close with. I've been dating Wendy essentially for 12 days. I didn't think it was right to give I was polite rather than honest. Let's put it that way. I mean,
let me ask the question again.
Yeah.
Do you like hanging out with the criminal element?
No, I don't do that.
Did Charlie Adelson text you or did you text him?
I texted him. I can't remember if that was solicited by Wendy Adelson or not, but I texted him.
It wasn't solicited by Charlie Adelson, right?
No, we never spoke again, though.
Okay. Actually, he texted you back.
Right, I never
answered. And he said, "It was great seeing you. I'm glad you made your flight. Hopefully we can all hang out soon."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
Now, you testified that Wendy was a wreck. Hold on 1 second, sorry. 1 moment, Your Honor. I've lost my place.
Dolores, if you want your iPad, you can have it. Okay, I wasn't sure if you...
You testified
You can have
about
your
some of
screen
these
time.
divorce filings on direct, correct?
Yes.
And that Wendy, you testified that Wendy was a wreck about him, right?
Yes.
That's not what you thought in the spring of 2014, though, was it?
You're questioning whether... Here's what I thought in spring of 2014. I noticed repeatedly her reacting to motions and litigation and getting very, very upset. I'm not saying there was never any good times, but she was very upset when he filed something.
Do you recall sending an email to Wendy Adelson in March 27th of 2014, where you tell her that she's adapting really well to unpleasant circumstances and that she needs to give herself more credit?
That sounds familiar. I would say it got increasingly worse March, April, May, June in terms of reactions to the entire situation. But I know I was sending that email. Yes, trying to encourage my girlfriend at the time. Yes.
So really, it got worse. Filings in March, April, and June.
No, I don't know when the last filing was. Her reactions, not just to filings, but the entire situation. Let me clarify that. So.
Hold on a second. Would it surprise you that there weren't any filings in May or June?
No, I'm aware of that.
Would it surprise you that there's been testimony in this courtroom that actually things got a little better?
Wendy's status didn't get better. My observations of Wendy saw her spiraling downward in that time period is what I was trying to refer to.
Do you recall that in the spring, summer of 2014, Professor Markell asked Wendy's parents to babysit for him?
I didn't know about that. I don't recall it if I did.
I'm sure you did.
You're gonna get in trouble for that. Surprised Georgia didn't jump up.
Do you recall telling law enforcement that your impression was that Professor Markel's filing was going to fail?
Yes, I was repeating things I'd heard from Wendy Adelson. So most of that content that was, I mean.
Sir, I'm just asking you for a yes or no question.
Okay.
Let me follow up of where you get that information from.
Okay. Okay.
I know you have a
Yes, I told police that. Yes.
So you told the police that Wendy wasn't concerned about Professor Markel succeeding with that motion.
No, she was highly anxious. She was highly anxious.
Did she think that the motion was going to be granted?
I don't think she knew. I think that's what caused the anxiety.
Didn't you tell law enforcement that your impression was that Professor Markel's motion was going to fail?
I did tell law enforcement that, yes.
And didn't you just tell the jury that that impression came from Wendy Adelson?
Well, from my interactions with her and partially my own opinion, to clarify. But yes, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
You also told law enforcement that everyone in the legal community agreed with that assessment.
I didn't speak to everyone in the legal community.
Well, let's read your interview then. And let's see if it refreshes your recollection. One moment, Your Honor.
I don't know, Mitchell. Jeffrey
You don't recall being
asked
recorded
anyways.
where
so
you
it's
said,
like,
and I quote, everyone in the legal community agreed with that assessment. At 2 o'clock on 7/23/14, interview part 1, at 34:35 in the interview. You don't recall saying that?
Yeah.
Can you give me the date of the interview again, please?
7/23/2014, interview part 1, and 3/6/2015. You reiterated.
The situation. Getting different messages from different people.
I have no further questions right now, Your Honor.
You redirect examination.
At the time you were in the hot tub with the defendant, did you know that he was a criminal element? I mean, okay, let me rephrase it. Did you know he was conspiring to commit the murder of Dan Markel?
I had no idea.
All right, and when you were at dinner with he and Catherine McVanowa, did you know that she was conspiring to commit the murder of Dan Markel?
I had no idea.
So you didn't know when you were in the hot tub that you were hanging out with a criminal element in that regard?
No.
Nothing further.
Policy will step down. You may be recalled
At some point. Members of the jury, we're going to take our lunch break at this point. Once again, I'm going to remind you not to discuss the case with each other or anyone else. Do not look at any news coverage
Understanding
or
what I'm saying about
discuss the
Dan
matter with any friends or
I
family.
don't
Enjoy your
have
lunch break. We will get started once again at 1:15. Please report back by 1:10.
I don't have the ability to see emojis. So I have to like go find them and copy and paste them, if that makes sense. Like there's nowhere.
I hate to ask because I'm almost afraid what will come back. The lawyers have anything to raise before we go on lunch break?
I don't know who the witnesses are. But we'll find them.
What's that? Go ahead.
Okay, are we gonna hear? I've adjusted. My renewal for StreamYard comes later this month. It's $823, I believe, to be exact. So hopefully it's one of the things that they're gonna fix this year. Hopefully. And yes, just so you guys know, it costs over $800
1 second.
just to have a platform to stream this. So that's why people like me ask for donations or super chats, or it does sound very grifty, but there's a reason behind it. I love the emojis. Everyone must be off eating dinner. Not me. You can always send emojis. You can send sending emojis helps because it's interacting with the algorithm. No, oh, did I say $800 a month? It's $800 a year. I pay it annually. If I were to do it monthly, it would end up being like $300 more expensive. It's ridiculous. It's an actual farce. But I use it, so it's not like something like, "Oh, should I spend the money on it?" Like,
Wonderful answer.
you know,
Next time we have a proffer, Mr. Rauschenbaum, if you can keep your voice down for the information that you don't want the jurors to hear, that wall still, something can get through. Keep the volume down.
Thank you, Your Honor,
please.
for the reminder. It's a bad habit.
All right. Please be back by 1:10 as well. We'll get started then.
I'm also a loudspeaker. It is a lot. And so, like, you know, it is what it is. It's, and it's like right after Christmas, you know? So,
Members of the jury, I hope you had a restful break. We are going to resume with the state's case at this time. Please call your next witness.
They call Stephen Webster.
I was confused. I was like, that seems like a really long lunch. No, it doesn't. I didn't realize they were done with Jeffrey for the day.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
You may take your seat. Thank you, Judge.
Please introduce yourself and spell your name.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Webster, SDEPHEN WEBSTER.
How are you employed?
I'm an attorney
How long have you been a member of the Florida Bar?
since 2005.
Did you represent Dan Markell?
I did.
During what time period did you represent him?
I think it was May of 2014
Oops, sorry,
until he
guys.
was murdered.
And during the time that you were, well, let me ask you, before his murder, when was the last time you had spoken with him?
I spoke to him that morning.
Oh, here he is.
And what was the main goal of your representation of Mr. Markell?
So I had just started my firm, and, you know, like any small business,
That's pretty ballsy for Dan to have gone with a brand new firm / practice.
scared and you're hungry. And a friend of mine called me, Tor Friedman, and said, I have a client for you. And I was like, okay. And he said, he's a law professor. And I was like, okay. And he said, it's a family law case. And I said, well, Tor, I don't do family law, and you know that. And he said, well, it doesn't matter. He's a law professor. He'll teach you everything you need to know. And I said, okay, well, that makes sense. So I agreed to meet with him. And the night before, I read all the papers, and they were voluminous. I printed them and actually read every word. And we'd already set up a meeting at Voodoo Coffee on Tennessee Street. And I really didn't think I was going to accept the case. I could just tell from the tenor of the papers that it was really, really contentious. And it just didn't feel like something I probably wanted to get involved in. But I wanted to meet him anyway. And so I met him, and I liked him. I liked him a lot. And so I decided I would take the case. I mean, it's not a prerequisite that I like you to represent you. But in something like that, I didn't want to get involved in a contempt type case with law professors, where ultimately it could end up being disrespectful to the court. And I didn't want to be involved in something like that if I really felt like it was going to be that kind of a relationship. But when I met him, I didn't feel like it was going to be that way. And so I agreed to take it. And his primary concerns were he wanted to get more time with his children, if at all possible, but he didn't want to change the kind of the time sharing. He had a kind of an unusual request. He wanted to see if there was any way that he could see the children every night when he didn't have them, to tuck them into bed and kiss them goodnight. And he said, look, I'll only stay 5 minutes. I promise I won't bother anybody, and I'll leave. And I said, Dan, that's probably never going to happen. That's just probably not reasonable. And then he was really concerned about parental alienation, which at the time I wasn't really familiar with it. I didn't do family law, but I was familiar with it from the perspective of I learned about it in law school and stuff like that. But he was really concerned that the grandmother, Donna Adelson, was really trying to drive a wedge between him and the children. And he actually told me that he heard her refer to him as stupid on a Skype call. He couldn't see her in the Skype screen, but he heard her say something to the effect of stupid's on the phone. And he was livid about it. And he was ready to.
I don't know why my comments aren't sending, but I assume he came from another practice to go out on his own. That's my assumption, because Dan, I think, probably took the law like extremely seriously, being a professor of it. It just seems like on this guy's part too, like having Dan as a client, I'm sure he had a lot of needs. You know what I'm saying?
Basically kind of go to war over that.
That sort of reference the filing that we're familiar with, where grandma says you're stupid, and he was seeking to have grandma refrain from having unsupervised contact with the kids.
Yeah, and I didn't have the opportunity to actually talk to him about that yet because he was killed. But it was my understanding that after that filing, he heard her. Actually, he heard her, because that's what he told me. He said, I heard her call me stupid. But she wasn't in the screen, but he knew her voice. And so he was very upset about that. And then the other thing that he was upset about, he wanted the Holocaust diamond back.
some
But
property of his, family property that Wendy had.
Yeah,
I
and he
think
wanted
that's
that back.
fair.
All right. So what about money? Was he worried about money?
No.
Any chance that the case could have been resolved through $1 million payoff to Dan Markel and the Adelsons?
If we're in exchange for what?
A relocation?
No.
We've heard some testimony that everything was going well between Dan Markel and Wendy in the few weeks leading up to his death. Do you have any knowledge of that?
It's untrue. There's a reason he hired me. He didn't retain me because he needed a friend. Tor basically told me on the phone call, he said, look, there's going to be a trial and it's going to be acrimonious and he needs a lawyer that can go into the courtroom and be prepared to fight. He said, that's why I think you could handle this case. And we were heading towards a trial. And he certainly, he sent me an email the day before talking about how he was irate because Wendy, unbeknownst to him, had actually enrolled or applied to have been enrolled at the School of Arts and Sciences. And she didn't even talk to Dan.
Oh, God.
So he found out the day before and he got called from the school saying that Ben had been accepted. And so he emailed me and said, I'm irate about this. He said, I don't think it's appropriate.
Okay.
So no,
So there were a bunch of issues still going on. It
yes.
was hot at the time.
Yes.
All right. And there was some suggestion that Dan Markel was expected to lose all the filings that were currently pending at the time of his death, and Wendy was expected to prevail on everything. Do you agree with that assessment?
You mean like with the contempt and all of that?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would not have got involved if I thought he was going to lose on the contempt. My reputation travels with my clients too if they're doing things like that, right? I mean, if you're representing a client who is disrespecting the court, it's hard not to feel like that's bleeding off on you and you're disrespecting the court. And in Tallahassee, Florida, if you practice in this circuit, if I disrespect Judge Everett today, every judge in this circuit that matters to me is going to know about it before lunch tomorrow. And it's just no. So no, I would not have accepted. That's why I didn't think I was going to take the case when I read all that.
Seeking contempt is kind of a big deal amongst lawyers, right?
Yes. I mean, contempt is, it's a very ugly kind of prospect. And as a lawyer, that was one of my main concerns is, she was a lawyer. And I did feel like she should be held in contempt. She didn't disclose things on her financial affidavit. Dan convinced me of that.
But that was to be determined, right?
But
by court.
Yes. But in my mind,
Yes.
that was the only reason I took it.
Okay.
And, at the end of the day, you can lose your law license for that. I guess you would have to report that to the bar. I didn't research it, but
He
the court would
does
refer it to
seem
the bar.
brilliant.
If the court found you were in contempt, the court would refer it to the bar and, you could lose your law license. So yeah, it's pretty serious, in that regard.
We heard, I think, from both sides in opening that Mr. Markel was brilliant, but I'm not sure anyone that actually knows about that has told us. Do you have any knowledge of that?
Yeah. I mean, it was why I decided to take the case. I liked him. He was actually funny. Like he had good humor about it. Even kind of as acrimonious as all of this was, the big picture stuff he didn't have any anger. He was angry about calling him stupid. That made him angry. But I think in his mind, eventually a lot of this stuff would resolve and should resolve. He wasn't vindictive, or vengeful. And that was a big part of the reason why I was willing to get involved. I felt like he was kind of looking at it like a business deal still, with the exception of the stupid comment. So he was funny and I mean, obviously smarter than I am, that's for sure. So
What are a lawyer's ethical obligations to a client in terms of the client knowing what is in the filings that are being filed on their behalf?
well, I mean, I think that depends.
Actually, this is probably a good time since Heaty's here and you guys are around. So this is perfect. There is a very strange phenomenon where I'm at in Florida. I didn't know this was a thing. I truly, genuinely did not know. And for Heaty, and because we're Ohioans, this is like really difficult to grasp, in my honest opinion. Where I'm at right now, there is a huge amount of relocated Amish from Ohio and Pennsylvania. So they come here and start their own like typical furniture and like bread and their delicious friggin' foods. There's a Dear Dutchman like 5 minutes away. I didn't know that the Amish did this. And even more, they didn't bring their buggies, because I definitely would have noticed that. Shut up. I can hear. But she's fucking laughing at me. You're awful. You're an awful mom. They bike around. They're just like ding ding. Oh. Like I thought they just were in Pennsylvania and Ohio. I didn't realize they would relocate. I didn't either. That's why I had to stop everything and tell a fellow Ohioan, like, this is crazy, because she knows. And like apparently where I'm at right now has a huge Holmes County, like in Ashland County contingency here. So just thought that was very interesting. I have the same question, Keedy, but if I ask my mother, she will honestly mock me for the rest of our time together. Oh no, maybe. Not like if you go in a little bit. I was shocked by how affordable the place is that I'm staying in for how nice it is. I was shocked. I knew that you would find it crazy, considering how often we see the Amish. Like, it's part of being an Ohioan. Yes, guys, it is that much.
You may continue examining the witness.
Are all attorneys in Florida governed by the rules of professional conduct?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you, as a 20-year lawyer, familiar with those rules?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so what are those rules in reference to, can a lawyer put things in a filing that the client doesn't know about or not?
You have a duty to keep your client informed. That is an actual affirmative duty on every lawyer. That you have to be in contact with your client, keep them informed of important events that are going on in the case. There are certain decisions that only the client can make, like whether to testify, things like that. But there are certain decisions that a lawyer can kind of make, procedural decisions on filing certain things. But you have a duty to keep your client informed of important events.
If Dan Markell was planning to move or seeking to relocate himself at the time of his murder, would you have known about that?
Yes.
And was he planning to do that or trying to do that?
Absolutely not.
One moment, please.
Taxes here are like incredible. No wonder LeBron left.
You started representing Professor Markell in, I think you said May 2014, around that time frame?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
By the way, at that point in time, what did you specialize in? Were you a divorce lawyer?
Yeah.
Had you ever done a divorce case?
I mean, I had done some, like I worked for other firms, and but for the most part, if I was going to take it, like me personally, it would have to be no kids involved, and like one of those situations where the assets were already like agreed upon how they were going to be split up. I didn't want to get involved in fighting in cases where kids are going to get hurt. It's not how I wanted to use my law license.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Sorry for talking to you. What did you specialize in?
I mean, as an attorney, I don't think I'm allowed to say I specialize in anything unless I'm board certified. So I'm not board certified in anything.
What did you? What type of work did you do more of?
At that point in my career, I'd primarily done a lot of criminal defense work.
Okay, so you were a criminal defense lawyer who was going to do a divorce case.
Yeah, I guess that's fair to say.
Were you aware that Professor Markell's previous lawyer had quit?
I saw in the filings that lawyers had withdrawn, and yeah.
And you never went to court with Professor Markell, right?
No, he got killed before I had my chance.
You're aware that the court admonished Professor Markell in court earlier in the year, right?
I don't know if I was familiar with that. I read the papers. If it was in the papers, I mean, look, it appeared to me that it was very acrimonious, and there were lengthy
Oh my God! If
and
he
filings.
says acrimonious one more
time, it was one of the things I talked to Dan about. I said, you need a lawyer. You need to stop drafting voluminous pleadings, and we need to just get this on the rails and focus on what matters.
Okay. Ms. Kappelman asked you about court filings and the ethics of lawyers. You recall her asking you that?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you file things. You have to keep your clients informed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you file things, and you're able to file things, and you don't have to go over every word with your client, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
No further questions.
Oh.
No questions, Your Honor.
We do. We have a ton of Mennonites in Ohio as well. Maybe it's like the Amish, like me, that I am not Amish, but like who have like really bad arthritis. I mean, a lot of times they won't talk to us.
Please call your next witness.
State calls June Mchunga.
All right. How long is this witness? Because this is going to be our last one for today. Oops. Ooh, wait, guys. I'm making a game time decision. I kind of want to. We can come back to June because she is important. She was the next girlfriend of Charlie's, that is. Let's go to Wendy's. They call her back.
State calls Wendy Adelson.
Hey, maybe can you remind me tomorrow, please? Start at June's testimony. Pretty please. With some cheddar cheese, some Amish cheese. Sarah.
Adelson, you remain under oath. You may be seated.
Ms. Adelson, we've got 2 points we need clarification from you. When we talked about your relationship with Jeffrey Lacasse, we talked about a occasion on July 13th, 2014. It would have been the Sunday before the murder. And on that occasion, did you, at your residence that evening, in the context of discussing the relocation issue involving you and your children moving to South Florida, did you say that Charlie, your brother, this defendant, had explored all options to resolve the problem, including hiring a hitman, and it would cost either $15,000 or $50,000?
No.
And did you have a conversation with Jeffrey Lacasse at your residence that night where you said you wanted to share something in confidence with him?
No.
Did you ever say that your brother had seriously hired a hitman where you weren't repeating the joke? You were serious. All right. And second point for clarification involves that dinner where you got sick at the dinner table. You recall which evening I'm speaking of?
I do.
This would have been about 2 weeks to a month after the homicide, I believe. Okay. And on that occasion, did you ever tell Jeffrey Lacasse that Charlie had referred to the dinner as a celebration dinner?
No.
Did you ever tell Jeffrey Lacasse that it was a celebration dinner?
No.
No further questions.
Cross-examine.
Very briefly. Good afternoon. During your interrogation, do you recall Jeffrey Lacasse's name coming up?
Yes.
And do you recall that it was Jane McPherson who brought up his name, not you?
Yes, correct.
And do you recall, as a result of his name being brought up, he was considered a suspect?
Yes.
And do you recall that Detective Isom asked you a lot of questions about him?
Yes.
And he asked you about his car?
Yes.
And he asked you about his travel schedule?
Yes.
And he asked you for his information so that he could speak with him, correct?
Correct.
But you didn't bring up his name, right?
No.
You didn't try to frame Jeffrey Lacasse for any murder, right?
Absolutely not.
In fact, Jane McPherson was the one who brought up his name, correct?
She was.
I have no further question.
Please approach.
If you haven't done so already, before we end for the night, which is not right now, it's going to be a little bit longer because we're going to do Jeffrey after this. Please make sure to thank Maybe, especially if you're in the chat. She does a whole lot for me, helping me out. And I really couldn't do this without her, which is absolutely terrifying at the same time. But she is very important to me. So I appreciate you guys being cool with her because she'll be cool right back to you. All right. Thanks, guys.
But Jeffrey Lacasse's name did come up while you were in the interview room, being interviewed in reference to the shooting, right?
Jane McPherson brought him up.
She was in the room with you during the interview.
For some of it, not for the whole time.
Okay, but during the part where Jeffrey Lacasse's name came up, she was in the interview room with you.
Yes, she brought him up.
And this is the same interview that we've referenced previously where you were taken from the restaurant to be told about what happened with Dan.
Yes.
Nothing further.
You may step down now. Will Ms. Adelson be recalled by either the state or the defense again?
Certainly hope not, Your Honor.
You remain under subpoena. Please call your next witness.
Jeffrey Lacasse.
I could do this without Maybe, I could. He just makes my life so much more enjoyable.
Mr. Lacoste, you remain under oath. You may be seated.
That's what it boils down to.
All right, Mr. Lacasse, I want to take you back to
Period.
July 13th, 2014. This is going to be the Sunday before the homicide that we're here about. Did you see Wendy Adelson that evening at her residence here in Tallahassee?
Yes, after we returned from dinner and a movie, we went back to our residence. Yes, ma'am.
All right, and at some point that evening, did the issue of the relocation battle that was going on back in the summer of 2013 come up?
It did.
And is that the issue we've already touched on, which has to do with her wanting to move to South Florida with the children and filing a petition to do so in the courts?
That's right. And by extension, the issue of being stuck in Tallahassee.
Okay. And while discussing that issue, did Ms. Adelson make some statements to you about her brother, Charlie?
She did.
And what were those statements?
She asked to speak to me confidentially in a very serious tone of voice, told me that Charlie had investigated all possible options to take care of the problem of Danny Markel, including hiring a hitman, which would cost about $15,000.
Okay.
And I later revised that and thought maybe it was $50,000, but the dollar amount was the.
If I was going to tell someone a secret, I'm sorry, I won't pause again. He's the last person that I would tell a secret to. Like, he has snitch written all over his face. Sorry.
Only thing in question, she definitely said that Charles Adelson had looked into hiring
Especially
a hitman
that.
called Danny Markel.
And when did she say Mr. Adelson had looked into hiring a hitman?
When the relocation was denied the previous summer.
Okay. All right. And the dollar amount, so she either said 15 or 50, you're not sure which?
That's correct.
Okay. And when she said this, what was her demeanor like?
She's very serious.
All right. So definitely not the to be confused with the TV joke.
No, I'd heard that joke repeatedly. I knew that joke. This was something very different. This was chilling, a little scary, made my stomach flip. I found it disturbing. The joke was said in a lighthearted manner, and this was not said in that way. This was serious and said confidentially.
All right. Thank you. And I want to, okay, I think we should go from there to the next day, which is going to be July 14th, 2014, the Monday before the murder.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see Wendy Adelson on that day?
Yeah, I can't remember if I contacted her or if she contacted me, but she was excited to see me. And I wasn't so sure about that because the night before we'd had an awkward conversation at the conclusion of that night. And I told her that she didn't want to do this anymore, that she could just send me a text and I wouldn't, take any offense. We would just, break up. So I didn't get that text. Instead, I talked to Wendy Adelson and she was excited to see me.
All right. So what did you do?
Well, then she needed to call me back, and it went from her enthusiasm about seeing me to let's just meet at yoga tonight, go in separate cars. So there was a real shift in about 30 minutes.
Did you go to yoga?
We did. We went to yoga.
All right. And after yoga, was there a discussion about your relationship and the status of your relationship?
Yeah, a very brief one. I mean, yoga's not a great place to talk, obviously. So while we were sitting there, she seemed very cold, and I kind of got the feeling that it was over, that this was it. So as we walked to the car, I tried to talk to her about the relationship, and that didn't go well. And so I just kind of put up my hands and walked away, feeling sad that this was it.
All right. And as you walked away, was that the end, or was there more conversation after you began to walk
No,
away?
she called out to me, and I walked back towards her. And she was deeply curious. Well, let me back up slightly. During that conversation, she didn't have any interest in spending any time with me for the rest of the week. So it kind of confirmed, this is over.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she called me back, she had a series of detailed questions about what I would be doing on Friday.
And Friday is going to be July 18th, right?
Yes.
And that's the date of the homicide?
That's exactly right.
What were her inquiries of you regarding that date?
I had a trip planned to Tennessee. She was aware that I was planning to leave about 11 a.m. On Friday. I need to get to Atlanta for an early dinner, so with traffic, she knew I was departing at 11. And at the yoga studio in the parking lot, she had asked if I was still going. If I didn't go, why not? What route I would be taking a lot of a bizarre amount of interest in that trip that didn't make sense to me at the time, given that she didn't want to spend time with me.
And how does it make sense to you now?
Well,
Chosen, are
I
you
had left on my
watching?
trip at the scheduled time that she had known about for quite a while, I would have driven pretty close to Danny Markel's house about the same time as the murder, in a similar looking car to the suspect vehicle.
What type of vehicle did you drive?
I drove a 2004 Nissan Sentra that was silver metallic gray color.
Because
So if
this
you had
is
followed
wild.
your original plans, you would have been passing by the Markel residence or nearby there around the same time as the killers were fleeing?
Yeah, I would have been at Capitol Circle in Thomasville. I'm sure I would have been on the same cell tower, for example. I think my life could have been pretty complicated had I taken my original plans.
All right, so you didn't, I guess, take the original plans.
No, I did not. I made a last minute decision the night before to leave Thursday night instead. I had not informed Ms. Adelson about that because we weren't speaking. Actually, no, I don't know that anyone in Tallahassee knew I had changed my plans, just the people at the other end.
All right, so you were actually in Tennessee at the time of the homicide.
I was.
And when we've heard you were called in as a potential suspect, and apparently named by a Jane McPherson. Do you know who that is?
I do.
Okay, who is that?
That was a friend of Wendy Adelson's, and she was a doctoral student in our program. I had a not much of a relationship with her, just a kind of a working relationship. We worked on a couple projects together, but I didn't know her very well at all.
But someone that knew that you had been dating Wendy.
Yeah, I think she was a confidant of Wendy Adelson's. Yes, for sure.
Okay. So you get called in, and were you able to provide documentation to show that you were in Tennessee and not in Tallahassee?
Yeah, I was excluded fairly quickly because investigators found Kmart surveillance footage of me at a Kmart in Tennessee using my credit card with my cell phone showing me there shortly after the murder. So it was impossible that I was the shooter.
All right. And then was there also some similar type coincidences around the time of the trip that the killers made in June?
Yes. On June 6th, I had a business trip to Gainesville, and I departed at 11 a.m. on a Friday, June 6th, which Ms. Adelson would have known about by March. So really, I take 2 trips out of Tallahassee in my car the whole spring and summer semester. Both times, hit me and try to kill Danny Markel.
Okay. Any further contact with Wendy after the yoga date?
We about 10 days after the murder, she reached out to a mutual friend, and we had a few phone calls.
And during one of those phone calls, did you learn about a dinner where Wendy had become ill at the table?
Yes, I did learn about that.
It's so weird.
What did you learn about that dinner?
That she went out to dinner with Charlie for what he called a celebration dinner. He said something to her. She spontaneously vomited on the table.
And this would have been within how much time after the homicide?
Within a few weeks.
Was it specified that the celebration was in reference to Dan Markel's death as opposed to anything else?
Wasn't specified.
Okay. But whatever it was, that's the dinner where she vomited.
That's right. That's right.
1 moment, please. Okay, further questions?
Cross-examination.
I am going to be right back.
Let's shift gears a teeny bit.
Okay.
When you and Miss Adelson were dating, there were occasions when she would drive, right?
Yes.
Did she have a good sense of direction?
I don't know.
You're aware that when she was married to, she lived in Professor Markel, she lived on the house on Trescott, right?
Yes.
And when you were dating Wendy, would she often use Trescott as a shortcut to get from one place to another?
She used it a few times when I was in the car, if that's what you're asking. She did that on June 27th, the day we departed to Gainesville at 11 a.m. on a Friday.
I think you said in one of your interviews that she would do that at least 100 times, drive by the house.
That was a figure of speech.
Okay. Now, you mentioned, we'll start with the joke, the bad joke.
Yes.
You mentioned this TV joke, how it was lighthearted, bad humor, certainly in the context of what happened, but it was a joke.
Yeah, it was dark humor, I would say, but it was clearly a joke. Yes.
And do you recall that joke being given at that Yardbird dinner?
I don't.
Could it have been given at that Yardbird dinner?
It could have, but I don't recall it. And I actually think I might remember that.
I'm sure you do.
Given what happened.
I think one thing that has been established is you believe that Wendy Adelson tried to frame you for Professor Markel's murder, right?
I'm suspicious that there was an effort made in that way, yes.
And so that has affected your viewpoint, correct?
Sure.
Well, let's talk about your viewpoint. And we have to go a little bit back and repeat a couple things to put it in context. So you meet with Charlie Adelson. He tells you that he's he's friends with people in the criminal element. You say, thanks for a great meeting, correct? Send him a nice text.
The next day I sent him a text, yes.
You don't go to the police.
No, I don't go to the police.
Okay. You then hear that Charlie's made a joke many times about this TV being cheaper than hiring a hitman.
Heard the joke twice.
Okay. You don't go to the police.
No.
Then in June, at a time when Wendy Adelson is breaking up with you, she sits you down and she says, I have to confide the biggest secret in my life. That a year ago, my brother actually looked into hiring a hitman. That's your testimony here today, right?
You said in June, sir?
In June? I'm sorry, in July.
Okay.
In July.
Can you restate that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Sorry.
I'll try to keep it lower this time. In July of 2014,
yes,
about a week before the murder, when you're breaking up with Wendy Adelson, or things are seriously not good, she sits you down and she says, Jeffrey, I've got to confide in you. My brother actually looked into hiring a hitman. That's your testimony here today.
No, she didn't sit me down. She said it in passing, and she had a habit of blurting out things that weren't in her own self-interest. But she did do that. She did make that statement. Yes, sir.
And it was chilling to you.
It was.
Unlike the joke, you thought it was real.
It was real, yes.
Did you go to the police?
I did not.
And then you break up.
Kind of. She strung me along for another week, as you know. Mostly, yeah, but kind of.
Well, the murder happens and you get called in as a suspect of the murder.
Right.
And you're upset at that point.
Yes, I was upset.
And you have a first interview with the police, and then you have a second interview with the police.
Yes.
And during the second interview with the police, you talked solely about Wendy Adelson.
Yeah, I think that's right. I felt like I needed to say they need to look at Wendy Adelson as well. That was the point of that talk. Yes, sir.
That was the point of that talk.
Yes.
And you don't mention actually Charlie Adelson at all in that second
I
interview.
already had done so, so yes, you're correct.
So that second interview, you talk just about Wendy Adelson. And in fact, you're so uncomfortable in the interview. You tell the police that. You say, I'm so uncomfortable. And Detective Isom asked you why. Do you recall that?
It wasn't a Detective Isom.
Okay, I'm sorry. The detective who was interviewing you asked you why.
I don't, you have to remind me on that.
Well, let me remind you what you
Yeah.
said. You said, because it's hard for me, because if she would take me back right now, I would go back to her.
Yeah, I was still under her spell to some degree. I would say I was fairly pathetic at that point. I would acknowledge that. Yeah.
So let me understand this, because I want to make sure I've got it right. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Sure.
Wendy Adelson has told you that her brother looked into hiring a hitman sometime in 2013. He gets murdered.
He does.
You go to an interview, and during that interview, you're still thinking about staying with Wendy Adelson. You don't want to talk badly about her because you still want to be with her.
You're talking about this July 23rd interview specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, it only been a week. It was still pretty fresh. I was still pretty mixed up. That's right.
Okay, well, let's see how mixed up you were after that. So then you're clearly broken up at that point. We can agree, right?
Actually, I would say yes, functionally. But I've testified before. Ms. Adelson and I had conversations in August where she behaved as if we were still together, and we had a conversation that finally ended, initiated by me. Now, practically, we were broken up.
You never dated. You never went on a date with her again, right?
I never saw her again.
Okay,
right.
fair enough. Fair enough. Then she tells you, according to you, that my client, Charlie Adelson, says that she had a celebration dinner with Charlie, and that the celebration dinner was about the murder of Professor Markell.
I don't recall saying that last part.
But that's how you took it, right?
I worried that was the case. I told the police, and my understanding is Wendy conceded she threw up on a dinner table.
Do you know that the first time you told the police that was in March of 2015?
I do know that.
So what happened in September of 14? What happened in October of 14? What happened in November of 14? What happened in December of 14, January of 15, February of 15? You still didn't think that was important to tell the police?
I'm happy to answer. I think you deserve an explanation on that. You may have noticed in my March 6, 2015 interview, I come in with notes, big pile of notes. Those notes are written in July of August. They're written pretty quick after the murder. I didn't come in right away, partially because I was scared of your client. I was scared of the repercussions if I went on the record further about my suspicion. So I was reluctant to come back in because I was frankly scared.
Oh, I get it. You were scared of him in August of 14, but you weren't scared of him in March of 2015.
And I decided to man up. Decided it was a homicide and needed to man up. That's the decision I made.
Right. You weren't scared to tell him that my client had actually looked into a hitman a year earlier. That didn't scare you. You could tell him that in July.
No, I was.
Hold on, sir. Let me ask a question.
Fair enough.
In July of 2014, you told police that Charlie Adelson, you heard, actually looked at hiring a hitman. You weren't scared to tell him that.
I asked for police protection. I was scared.
You told them that in July of 2014. Isn't that correct?
Yes, in the same conversation, I said, can I get some assurances? Can I get some protection? I have something I want to tell you. I'm scared to tell you.
But you were too scared to tell him about a celebration dinner comment, and you waited almost half a year to tell him?
Well, I did wait half a year to tell them, but the notes I brought in were written right after that interview. I also wanted to get my thoughts together because I thought this day might come. And I wanted, in those first two interviews, there was a lot going on. It was pretty traumatic. So I wanted to collect my thoughts. So that's what I was doing, in addition to being pretty frightened and having to get over that idea.
Isn't it true that those comments never happened, and you're upset because you believe that this family tried to frame you for murder?
Everything I'm saying is true.
I'm sure it is. May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Move to strike the I'm sure it is comment.
I'll withdraw it.
It's withdrawn. Please disregard members of the jury.
I have no further comments for this. Or questions.
Redirect examination.
This may seem like a fine point, but I want to make sure it's crystal clear. When Mr. Rashbaum was asking you about the hot tub conversation, Mr. Rashbaum said that his client said that he was friends with people in the criminal element. Is that exactly what was said?
The word I recall is he had connections and friends on both sides of the tracks.
Okay. Connections to
Criminal.
the criminal
elements. In
element.
particular, there was the Cuban neighborhood comment that I repeated to the TPD later.
Gotcha.
Actually, on July 21st, first interview, I mentioned that comment.
Okay. How many pages of notes do you have in reference to this case?
Like right now or over the last 9 years?
I mean, kind of over the last 9 years.
Yeah. I'm a researcher by training. I'm an analytic person by nature. So those 6 months, It's pretty obsessive. I was reviewing every text message, every email, writing. I condensed it down. I think if you watch the videotape, you would see me bring in 3, 4, 5 pages. But I would say I wrote probably 100 pages before I came in to see them the third time.
Going through every receipt,
Yes.
every detail,
Yes.
partially out of what motivation?
Well,
Being
pretty traumatic.
thorough.
So fear was part of it. Like if they can catch the people that did this, I'll be safe. That was a big piece of it. Also, this was a brutal murder, and I wanted to see justice done. And I did not want to leave something sitting on the shelf. If I was in the possession of something that could help, I wanted to help.
And isn't it true that you didn't know what was going to end up being important out of all the nuggets you dug out of the phone and everywhere
I
else?
had no idea. And I also told them repeatedly, I hope and pray this wasn't Wendy and Charlie Adelson. But just in case, here's the stuff I have.
And Mr. Rashbaum asked you about why didn't you go to the police when you learned that Mr. Adelson had in fact looked into hiring a hitman. This, just to reiterate, the statement was made the Monday before the murder, is that
That's
right?
correct.
Okay. And that's the statement where Wendy's relating it to you.
Yes.
All right, so that's going to be in 2014.
Yes.
Okay, and she's making a statement about something that occurred in what year?
2013.
All right, why didn't you go to the police with this information?
Because it was a past tense thing she was reporting. I did not sense there was a present danger. I didn't know Hitman had already visited Tallahassee. I didn't realize there was an active murder plot.
In hindsight, should you have gone to the police with this information?
Yes.
One moment, please. Nothing else, Your Honor.
So cost, Ms. Dunn, Roger, do you have something to do?
Maybe the sidebar briefly.
Approach.
Damn it. Sorry. I mean, dang it. Okay, let's go. Let's go. What's for dinner tonight? For me, I think we're gonna make some garlic bread using Cuban bread. So I'll add some garlic and some butter
Jury room.
and Italian spices. And we got some ravioli that we can put in some hot water and just pre-made ravioli. And
At this point,
Well, I think what may make sense
how about
first,
you guys?
with all respect, is maybe let them just ask him whether he has the notes first and whether they can get them rather than do an inquiry. I don't think the state has done anything wrong.
well, I think that directly goes to factor one, whether there's a violation, but yes.
I think it's crazy that his mom and dad weren't there.
I don't think there's a violation, but I think I'm entitled to the notes if he has them, and then we can recall them.
Very well. Does your client need to use the restroom or take a break?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll take a 10-minute break and we'll go back on at 3:40. Ms. Kappelman, how many more witnesses do you plan to call before we? Okay.
Who are the two?
3:40
It won't
to
be
start
quick.
again.
Or it won't be long.
Seated. Members of the jury, the defense is going to have a very brief recross of Mr. McCollum.
Hi, White
Across those
Buffalo.
notes, pages and pages of notes. Did you provide them to the prosecutors?
No, they were destroyed. I went used them to guide my interviews with investigators, and then I destroyed them.
You destroyed them.
Yes.
Why'd you destroy them?
I don't think they would have been any use to anyone else. They were just little talking points for me. We went through every single thing on my notes. It was on videotape, and then I got rid of the notes.
So when you're on the videotape, you were reading your notes?
I was using them as prompts to remember to talk about each thing. The investigator guided the interviews, so sometimes we didn't stick straight to them, but I made sure everything on the note got discussed with investigators.
But we wouldn't know that because we can't see him today, right?
No, but you can watch the videotape of my interview with Craig Isom and see what's on the notes.
Oh, I can see actually the writing on that videotape?
I guess not, but that's the material that was covered.
Sir, truth is you destroyed those notes and we can't review them, right?
Yes.
No further questions.
Redirect. Ms. Kappelman.
Was there any law or instruction from a law enforcement officer requiring you to do something with your personal notes?
No, I don't think I even needed to create notes. I chose to organize my thoughts to talk to Investigator Isom, but it was to help me make sure I covered what I wanted to cover. And of course, he ended up asking most of the questions anyway. That's how it works.
Everything in the notes is included in the interview.
Yes.
It's provided to us.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing further. Thank you.
Yes, that's it. Please call your next witness.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay, guys. that's it for today. But we will be back tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I will present you with some updates if there are any in the other cases, and kind of give you an idea of where we are with our giveaway. I want to have at least 25 people sign up for the raffle before I do it, which I probably should have made clear earlier, but yeah, it's just going to sit there. And then once I do the raffle, I'll get rid of that information. I'm not going to use it for anything else. It won't be sold. Nothing sketchy or shady. And if you haven't done so, please remember to like this stream and just double check and make sure that you are subscribed, regardless of whether or not you are watching live or on replay. It helps the algorithm quite a bit. Tell a friend about us, tell some coworkers. We would love to see some more people. I know we're still trying to regain that momentum that we had before I left for my trip. So all your help is super appreciated, and thank you so much to Maybe for modding this evening. It's always so greatly appreciated. Where can I sign up? Okay, if you want to sign up for the giveaway, you can go to this video description, and in the description there is a form, a link for a Google form, and it's like 3 questions, super easy. It should be in there. If you have any troubles, let me know. And thank you, you guys. I hope you all have a lovely, safe, and blessed evening. And I will see you tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Bye for now.